Oh, did we?
I think we started.
Are we on?
Yeah, I mean, it's rolling.
Listen, it's on. It's on like
Alright.
Donkey Kong.
So let's start off with FL2k because obviously that's the...
Well, you got to introduce us, too.
Yeah, of course,
Who's
of
this
course. Mac, Shop Inc., right? Is that what you...
Shop Houston.
Shop Houston. Yeah, I'm thinking of Shop South.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Big,
yeah.
Shop
My-
South.
Yeah, I did tell Dan to come.
Shop South, yeah.
Yeah,
Shop
my
South.
brain
you could be a
obviously.
fill-in.
So Shop Houston, but you left New York with a shop and went to Houston, right?
Yeah,
So
so I'm originally from Connecticut. So I started my shop up there, and then I went down, and I originally went down to basically work for the Shop Houston, and ended up about 2 years in, had an opportunity to buy into it, so now I'm a partial owner. So
Okay, so that shop was mostly GTRs or
Yep.
Supras, GTRs, kind of JDM stuff.
it was pretty much all GTRs before I got there. They did some Subaru stuff too. And now
Cut
we
that
do.
out.
No, dude, I've said this before.
Believe it or not,
I-
it's like it's a great market.
Subarus make money.
Because you'll never stop working.
No, yeah, it's
Those
great job
customers are for
security.
life.
You know, 'cause,
That's what the
like,
Dodge techs tell me.
they blow up from the factory. So
Yeah.
people, if it blows up after
Yeah.
you build it, they're like, well,
Yeah.
that happened 3 times when it was stock. So
That's
If I could-
true.
if-
Everybody else expects their cars never to blow up.
Yeah.
yeah,
But they're
Subaru owners
prepared
buy
for
them
it.
knowing. Yeah.
Knowing what I know now, instead of Supras, it would be Subarus.
Yeah,
We'd
I
be
mean,
twice as busy.
I've said that.
And there's so many of them.
Yeah.
We don't realize it because we're not like in it.
Yeah.
There's so many of them.
And most people don't want to work on them because they know that it's
They suck.
kind of a bad reputation because it's like, oh, his cars always blow up. But it's like, that's kind of the...
When you just do like basic work to them, they kind of suck to work on.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
with the way the motor's designed and stuff like that, it takes a little while to change. It's much more difficult to change plugs and stuff like that. But like you said, there's so many more of them, even so many more than Evos.
Yeah.
Because WRXs and STIs have the same motors, and like parts are so available. They didn't quadruple in price like GTR stuff when COVID hit. So like
The numbers have to be like insane of how many of Subarus are built a year.
yeah.
And
And then the
Evo
price
X kinda
point-
died anyways. Like
It's not even a thing, I
Nobody
don't
even
think.
thinks
They don't
about
exist
that.
anymore.
Yeah.
don't
Yeah, I
know
see
how
them
that
every once in a
happened.
while. I'm like, wow, remember those?
It's a classic.
But they're pretty
Evo-
cool. But then
They
they're
are,
just
they are.
gone.
They were a good because I was an Evo guy for a long time. I still am an Evo guy, but like they were a good daily because they were still an Evo, but had a little bit more technology,
Especially in the
and
Northeast.
stuff like that.
Because you can drive them all year round.
Yep.
Good on gas. Yeah.
it's such a
This guy's
weird car.
been an Evo guy, a GTR guy, a Supra guy,
I'm still all those things.
a Lambo guy.
Just low key, still all of them.
This
Because
guy.
like when I think of you, I think of Kimbo.
Yep.
That was my first introduction
Kimbo.
to you. Was Kimbo the desert tan,
It's
carbon doors,
Baby puke.
baby puke,
Baby puke. Yep.
R35
Yep.
with solid axle now, but it's gone through
Actually, it's
so
like the
many
color of the
iterations.
hat.
Through a lot of stages. Yeah, it's desert camo because I'm a fucking American.
I mean, the hat
Desert camo.
looks like mixed baby throw up with
Yeah,
some
well,
baby poop.
I don't know because I'm not.
I don't know,
I'm not on your guys' level yet with the babies.
There's not that much need for a desert camo actually in America though.
Yeah,
It's
that's
only
not
when
very.
you're
That's actually
outside.
not very American.
There's actually not that much of a need.
Green
Dude,
camo would
listen,
be a little bit.
I've had nobody likes how American I am for how import I also am. I've had people throw shit at my car at Yellow Bullet. I was the only import on the property.
Oh wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
People don't like it that much.
I did not think that would. I didn't think you caused such a division in the.
We both have the same issue. We're smart enough to know that domestics are better at drag racing in most cases, and V8s are better at handling a lot of horsepower in most cases.
Yeah.
In
But we
literally
just still
every
love
case.
doing dumb shit.
Yeah.
We just love it. We can't help it.
That feels like you were talking to me a little bit there.
No, I mean,
I
You
feel
know-
that a little bit.
I think
That's so
everybody
true.
knows that I'm like a huge 2J guy. Like I love 2Js. I live and breathe 2Js. I've spent way too much money trying to go fast with 2Js. But I know in my heart that my life would be a lot easier if I didn't love 2Js. And to go as fast, like our Supra, the shop Supra goes, we've been like 4.0 in the 8th. It's been 630s. With a V8, it would do that on like cruise control.
Yeah.
And we would
all,
like never work on
all
it.
you have to do is adjust the valves.
Yeah, like
That's
we
it.
would like never work on it. And then if we wanted to turn it up, we could go faster.
Well, what you did with your car was always very interesting to me because it's still a heavy chassis.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like the motor and everything makes great power. I've always liked those motors, but to leave it in that chassis was an interesting move because it's still, you can't take the weight out of it.
Yeah, but I think
No,
there's
I've
like an
gotten-
emotional attachment probably.
I mean, that is what got me. Like I say this all the time. Like that car got me to where I am. Whether it's in literally any opportunity, because every way you look at it, like even meeting Victor, I met him because I scammed him for a transmission one time.
True story.
I bought a stage
story.
5 off. I bought a stage 5 from him, and I was broke. I didn't have the money for it. I was trying to build the car to
I
build
had-
the name for my shop. And
I
he
had already realized that GTR suck.
He unknowingly financed it for me.
Yeah, I was parting out a GTR because I was like, man, these things really suck.
Yeah.
And like racing these things sucks even worse because you'll spend 50 grand on a transmission and like it could break on the first pass or the 10th pass, but when it breaks, it just breaks. You got to just start over. So we were parting one out, and yeah, this guy, yeah, I'll take that transmission, and then
And he's like, yo, I didn't agree to take, $3,500 a week for the rest of my life for this. So I ended
On a transmission is
Yeah.
crazy because that
I
gets you like
love-
the peak power glide. Like $3,500 is like all
I'm
in on
in,
power.
I'm in my M&M with the converter,
a lockup.
with a
converter
lockup,
and a
with
reed case.
everything.
Yeah.
Dump
for-
valves, the whole 9.
For far less than the
could
trans
buy-
that I sold out of the car.
He could buy like 2 or 3, so he has spares, and it would cost what a GTR
Spare that I would
transmission
never
costs.
need.
That you
That,
would never
like,
touch.
Like he touched on before, the most frustrating part about drag racing that car before was I really do love racing, but at the same time you're just dumb enough to where you love what you love what you love, and I know we talked to Pro Mods. He's building a Pro Mod. And I know the same thing. Like it would be so much easier for me to build a big block car.
You can't cut a
with
light in a
turbos
GTR.
and all that stuff. So, but still to this day now, I'm like, man, I really want to build a pro import car with a VR in it. Like just to do it. To satisfy yourself. But
Those are called intrusive thoughts. You need to fight them. You'll end
but
up-
drag racing the car before, like he touched on earlier, the thing that I used to hate was going to Maryland. It's my favorite race of the year. And you're dragging the car 30 hours from Texas, and you don't know if your trans that costs more than most people's car at the chassis at the event is going to make it 1 pass or 100. And you can't cut a light.
I know it's not going to cut 100.
Well, I mean,
I'm
knocking
at peak
on-
make like 8.
Yeah.
I'm knocking
Come on
on
now.
wood. I'm knocking on wood, and I don't have it anymore, so I don't really have to knock on wood. But my GR6 never broke. I couldn't afford to rebuild it a bunch of times. So every time I had downtime, I sent it in just to get checked and stuff like that. But I've only ever actually broke 2 axles, and then the minute I broke 1 gear was the time I switched to the Turbo 400. I was like, fuck this, I'm done.
I had
Because it was at Maryland, and it was the exact
I
scenario
had
that I
tried
was
so
afraid
hard for so long to get him to get a Turbo 400. It's honestly like the like biggest proud dad moment of my life is convincing him to put a Turbo 400 on that car. And that car got like I thought the car was cool before, but to me it's like the coolest GTR now.
I would agree, but the problem is like with a GTR, it's not just like, oh yeah, put a turbo
No,
400
no,
in
no,
it.
no, no, no.
It's not like every other car in the
No,
world.
yeah, it's
Like,
not that-
If
that
you have a
simple.
Supra and somebody's like,
But
put
like,
a turbo 400 in
I mean, it's cool because it's like he can race it in anywhere now, right? It fits like X275 rules. It fits Extreme 28s at FL2k. It fits probably X275 at World Cup or
Yeah.
Warriors.
Extra hot rod,
Yeah, like
racing in Warriors, all
he
that
can
stuff.
race it wherever he wants. He can bump in and leave on a trans brake and actually cut a light. He doesn't have to worry about the transmission now, just the engine. And like it's just such a cool car now. It's so much easier to work on.
Oh, yeah.
It's like everything about it just got really cool when he did
I've
that
always really
transmission.
enjoyed that car too. I mean, it's famous for the Hoonigan stuff as well,
Yep.
racing the Hoonicorn, and that was a cool
That
one. 'cause
car's
That was Leah driving the Hoonicorn
Yep.
in that.
That guy
deal.
that car. You've done a lot of stuff in that car. You've done no
That's
prep
what I'm saying.
stuff.
Like the
You've
car
done
has
street
got me
racing.
to where I am for sure. It's been through a lot of different stages.
That's the same
Remember
car that had the stock turbos that was really fast too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, like wasn't it
Stock
like,
manifolds, yeah. We
Yeah.
had 770s.
no, but didn't you go really fast with stock turbos too? In like the
No,
beginning?
Dan
no?
second
Oh
did his
yeah,
car.
yeah. Okay.
We put a built motor, stock turbos. I think we put on M1, and my car had already broke, so we put my car shot a turbo out of it. This was at FL2k.
Yeah.
So we put my stage 5 trans in
Yeah.
his car and just shifted it wide open. no torque reduction or anything. It was chirping all the way down the track like it had a shift kit in it.
Those things just eat turbos out of them, no matter what it is, it seems like. Because I remember Giddy's car used to do that. Like, every now and then, like, you just see, like, the wheel come out the exhaust, and it's like, what is it about those
and I think,
engines
too,
that's
that,
freaking-
and this is not a knock on anything, but I think there was a period of time where most of those guys ran Garrett turbos, and Garrett turbos are great, but, like, they were just overspinning the hell out of them to get the results that they did. But like there was a time like all the AMS stuff was based around Garrett turbos. I think Boost Logic at some point used a lot of Garrett stuff.
They did on the 1300X is a 3582. That's like the best turbo kit ever.
Yeah.
It's a turbo.
But
kit
people
you can
just
put in the
overspin
car.
the hell out of them and break them. And it's not easy to change the turbo on that car. So if you want some more power,
terrible.
it's easier to just keep turning it up and break it than it is to change the turbo. You have to pull the engine to change the turbos on the car.
Yeah, it's always a funny thing with the GTRs. You go to like TX2K, and if you see your ladder, and it's like, oh, I got a GTR first round.
Oh, yeah.
It went 3/10 faster than me, but like,
Yeah. That's a celebration.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not going to leave the starting line.
Yeah.
yeah, it might not.
There's
It might not make
a
it too. Like,
80%
it might not
chance.
show up.
There's an 80% chance it doesn't show up. There's a 70% chance it breaks. A 50%, no, a 100% chance you leave before them. They can't cut a
Yeah,
good line.
that's what I'm saying by not leaving the starting line. So like, it won't really matter as long as you cut an under 100 light. You'll be all right.
Yeah, you'll be out on them.
Yeah.
And
If you're
then
on a
you'll
pro
see
tree,
it kind of
it's-
do this.
But let's
If
be
you're on a pro
clear.
tree, it's cake.
Yeah, but let's be clear. They're awesome street cars. But that's the issue is like, people like us that we want to always go further and further and further, and we take it too far, right? And we try to, or not me, I got out of it quick because I just couldn't stand it, but try to make a car that you drag race out of the street car because everybody wants to say it's a street car. Like that's like, I think besides racing pro mod, the biggest thing in drag racing is saying that your race car is a street car. That's like everybody wants to do that. So you take that car and it's a street car and you can go sevens with it and it's cool, but it sucks at like competitive drag racing. It absolutely sucks.
I think the market has phased them out a little bit because the V10 platform.
Yeah, well, and it's like seems like a lot of the same owners have left the GTR stuff and gotten V10 stuff.
Because it's like the GTR stuff is cool, but man, those V10s are hard to break. Like from the outside looking in, they seem hard to break.
There's guys making like 1,500 plus on stock engines,
Oh,
right?
we've made 1,800 on a stock motor.
On a
Stock long
stock.
block, sealed up.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Like right from Audi or
Yeah.
And I mean, that alone makes it probably more reliable than a GTR.
But I mean, if you compare them, right? Like what those make on a stock motor is comparable with the 10-cylinder versus what the V6 does. If you look at like, horsepower per hole and stuff like that, it ends up being really comparable. But it's on a whole different level, and I think that's part of the problem with the V10
Yeah, because
platform.
it's a 5.2 liter. We're talking a 3.8 liter.
Yeah.
So like power per liter is probably close. But how
But
much
like
can
still
you-
entry level, the problem I see, well, it's been much better the last 2 years. But when the V10 platforms first started to take off, like the big issue was entry level was like 1,400.
Yeah.
And like that's a lot for people. So I know.
Yeah,
that
you very
everybody
rarely
saw-
hear about like an 800 horsepower twin turbo Audi anymore
Yeah.
or Lambo. Like that's not like a thing.
Well, it's an on and off switch. It's like stock to 1,400 horsepower.
But it's also when
There's
it's
no
so
progression.
easy to make the power, how do you control yourself not to?
Yeah.
Like these guys will do a turbo kit. Some of them do it on stock ECU with M Engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them do it on Motec, but either a turbo kit and like a second gear and a clutch. And some of them don't even touch the transmissions, and they have like a mid to low 8-second car
My
that you can
car-
drive anywhere. Like legitimately get in.
Like,
my
we'll do
First-
that
My
at
first
draggy.
RA made like
Yeah.
1,200 on a stock clutch, stock trans,
Yeah.
stock everything. We just turned it up until the clutch.
But it also sucks a lot worse when you break your R8 or Lambo compared to your GTR.
Really? Talking as much as a GTR costs to fix, it's still worse to
Well,
break
so
your...
it's the same thing. Just like I said, like they're kind of comparable. You're spending X amount more for the car, and you're spending X amount more for the parts. So
Yeah.
like a $35,000 tranny for a GTR is going to get you the works. I have a trans that came out of my Huracan that the invoice was $74,000
Yeah.
to build it.
To build it.
Just to build it.
Yeah.
That to me is
Not
like,
including
and like
car.
if you
the
like
car.
if you break a stock GTR motor, you can get one for like 10 grand.
You used to be able to get them for $10,000. I used to be able to buy blocks for $2,000. Now they're $7,000 dealer cost.
Jesus. But what's a Lambo motor? What, like 25, 30? If it's just a stock
40
motor?
grand
40?
on eBay, 35 grand, 30, depending on the mileage.
See, that's just not fun to me.
No.
No.
That's
Like you blow one motor and you're just done. Like that's it. You either have to like keep the car for the rest of your life.
Get a second mortgage on your house.
Yeah, I know. That just sounds.
Yeah, I mean, there's
terrible.
people that are making payments on cars that sit in shops right now.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, and then the other thing that's crazy to me that I always look at, because like at the racetrack, I see so many different like platforms and types of racing. Like there are guys that will come to FL2k with a Lambo or an R8 or GTR that have literally spent the same amount of money as a pro mod team that's going to come for snowbirds. And I don't think these guys realize that like they're spending that much money, and that like they could race at the snowbirds for 50 grand or US Street for 75 grand or World Series or Pro Mod for 150 grand for literally like about the same money.
Yeah, but the thing, it goes back to exactly what you said before. Like, I've told that to a couple of my customers, and they're like, yeah.
It's not a street car. Yeah.
Just like, no, but like, they're so invested in it, and
Yeah.
that car has won this many races, and they want to go beat this guy or reset this record.
Well,
and
folks,
they just keep punishing themselves
I got
to do
news.
it.
If you get sick of changing GTR transmissions and engines and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to run 6-second quarter miles, Pro Mod's waiting for you.
Yeah, but to
Everything's
you,
Or Pro
for
275.
you as a drag racer, Pro Mod is alluring. But to somebody that's not a drag racer and they just want to like race their car once or twice
Cooper,
a year.
these guys go to FL2K, TX2K, World Cup finals. They used to go to DCT World Cup. They go to a couple streetcar takeover events. They go to an IFO once or twice a year. They race just as much. Some of them have the stacker. Some of them, and they're paying a tuner in a shop to come and help them. They're refreshing engines. They're refreshing transmissions. They're already doing it.
But don't you already
They're doing it.
You don't need to sell Pro Mod anymore. There's 40 cars already signed up, right?
No, it's going to be more than
It's full.
We made a list the other day. Wes and I made a list of active pro mods between our 3 events last year and then the couple that didn't race any of our 3 events, like new cars. It's like 100 active pro mods. Yeah, that we know of, and honestly, there might be more.
You might have to have like a qualifying before the like a week before
We're gonna
you
probably
show
have to-
up, but you
yeah.
have to qualify.
Yeah, we've been talking about. We might
Or
even
what
do
Jason
something.
Miller does, like send in a slip.
Yeah, we might do something too, where like we let some people with new cars like race their way in. We're still working out details, but we're
There's
working
a lot
on
of cars on property.
Yeah,
just Pro mods.
we're working on the Drag Illustrated Winter Series, so that'll be the Snowbirds, US Street, and World Series of Pro Mod. 50 grand to win, 75 grand to win, 150 grand to win. So like, sick race, huge stage for people to race. There's no other racing going on anywhere in the country those months. Everybody's watching. It's going to be really cool. But the hard part is, obviously you want to include as many people as possible, but you can't. Because like if we let all 100 pro mods in the country come and race, we would never finish the race. And the experience would just be terrible. Like you would just be sitting in your car for like 4 hours to make a pass. You know what I mean? Like it would just be terrible.
And it's not like the streetcar class at FL2K where if you just left it wide open, you'd have 12, 13-second cars. This is like, we're talking like 0.3 of a second split.
No, not even.
At
No,
most, the
no.
slowest guy might be.
So like the last 3 races, it's been 1/10 or less from car 1 to car 32. It's like, for an example, we had a ladder once where it was like car number 1 went 358 and car number 32 went like 367 or something like that. And car number 33, 34, 35, 36 also went 367. Like,
Just with a different number.
yeah, like it is insanely tight racing, which like that's awesome. Like to the fan experience, the driver experience, like the experience that creates when the racing is that tight is absolutely insane. You can't mess up at all. The tune-up has to be perfect. You can't miss that. You can't sleep on the tree. You can't. I mean, you can lose so easily. But it just makes the win so much more worth it. I mean,
You always have to give such a round of applause to the rule maker in that
Yeah,
deal
yeah.
to make it that tight where
and
somebody hasn't ran away.
And it takes many of us. Like the cool thing about that is that, so like when I first started doing pro mod events, I didn't really know much about it. So I would I would call John Sears and I would call other people and like get their opinion. And then I would, Bradenton was always known for coming up with their own rules. So, because it's an outlaw pro mod race. So, we would and what's unique about our races is that we let all all the different kind of combinations run together. So you'll see like PDRA does Pro Nitrous and Pro Boost. Well, here it's Pro Nitrous and Pro Boost. Like whatever you have, like we're all running together.
Yeah.
You can see a small block with a turbo, big block with a turbo, big block screw blower, big block roots blower, different kinds of blowers, centrifugal. You'll see you can see a diesel. Like we have rules for all of these things, and it's that close. But what's cool about it is that we all communicate behind the scenes. So like, we're looking at races right now. Mark Mickey just went 356 at 214. And like that's too fast for the class. Like
here's
not
20
that,
pounds.
Yeah, not that nobody can keep up. Like, people can get there, but right now for the rule set that exists, he's too fast. So we got to bring him back in. And like we're always communicating with other rule makers and other sanctioning bodies, and like, hey, we need your weight sheets, and like, what is this guy running this weekend, and all that. And like that's the way that we achieve that. And what it does for the sport by us all like communicating and working together, it's amazing because it just creates a great winter series for us, and it sets the tone for the whole year. Because now going from World Series of Pro Mod to whatever the first race is after that, whether it's PDRA or Midwest Pro Mod or whatever, that it's going to be close racing. And if it's not, not close enough, exactly what to do to make it close. And when you race for $150 or $150,000, nobody's holding back. Like you're going to see exactly what that combination is capable of. So it's just, it's been really cool. Like what it's done for the forecast of the sport is really cool.
Yeah, Pro Mod has really, like, watching away from NHRA is really exciting to me because the Outlaw Pro Mod, as you guys kind of more refer to it, because NHRA has their own flavor.
Yep.
That's a little more...
Yeah, it's different.
The turbo combinations don't really get in.
Yeah, like they're limited to like how much boost they can run. I believe they can only run 30 pounds of boost.
Yeah, so you don't see the turbo guys out there.
Yeah, and like, but also, so they run quarter mile, which I don't know that it'd even be legitimately safe to run most of our Outlaw cars in quarter mile trim in a lot of the tracks because they just would go so fast. But to give an example, I went to Indy for NHRA last week. And I think the fastest car went like a 576 in the quarter. Probably went, I think it was like a 384 or 85 in the eighth. We got guys going 350s and 360s. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but a 358 is probably like a 530. So we're talking 5/10 faster. So stopping that car and so there's a place for what the NHRA Pro Mod does. And it's awesome racing to watch. I was there just like wanting to get in a car and drive. Like it's amazing, but it's very, very different. And like a lot of those cars don't want to participate or can't always participate in the Outlaw Pro Mod stuff we do because it's so much work. Like they have to change everything to get from an illegal NHRA car to an Outlaw Pro Mod car.
So unless you have like a team, like like the team that Lyle races with, like where they can really turn a car around.
But like they don't want to do it. Like if they want to participate. So like if they don't have another car that they can race or whatever, that's an Outlaw car, they'll do it. But like you don't want to do it. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of time. And then after that, you have to reset up and refigure out the entire combination in the car. Like it's not the same car anymore.
Yeah, and changing around. How do you slow down like somebody like Mark? Because like the turbo combination's a little funky.
It is, yeah. So weight is the go-to usually, but the reality is we probably have to limit the turbo size for the turbocharged Pro Mod stuff.
Interesting. That's tough.
Yeah,
because they're already kind of limited to turbo that they can run. There's not as many options as once you get to that size.
Yeah, the best thing would be if there was like part numbers that we can just put in the rule book, like that you have to run this part number, but even that can be fudged. Mm-hmm. So we just have to come up with like exact turbo specs that they can run and limit them there. Because like, if I'm not mistaken, this weekend Mark's car is 2675. So 2,675 pounds with twin 98 millimeter turbos and a lockup. The certification of the chassis, he can't be more than 2,800 pounds. And realistically, a turbo car, you'd have to put like 75 pounds on him to get him probably where it needs to be, or 50. And now you're almost past the certification of the chassis. If he he figures it out and goes that fast again, what do? You can't continue to add weight. It just won't be safe at a certain point.
Well, there's even some, I hear all the time, it's like, oh, if you add some weight, you actually load down the turbo cars and they end up making a little bit more power.
Turbo cars, not necessarily, but like they definitely don't react the same to weight as like a nitrous car would. Like you put 25 pounds on a nitrous car, you're slowing it down a lot.
Yeah.
You put 25 pounds on a turbo car, it might run the same. Like it may just run the same. So it's tricky. It's a science. But the racers and the sponsors and like everybody who puts up the money to participate and to compete, they rely on us to figure it out, and we have to figure it out. It's important that we do. That's how we built this whole thing.
So it's interesting. We talk a lot about, big floppy tires all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. But I'm a little saddened because it almost seems that it's taking the front seat away from small tire racing. And I'm curious why you're doing that to us radial tire loving people out here.
Well, I don't agree with that, but I think that.
Do you feel that at all, Sed? Is he too pro mod focused all of a sudden?
I mean, I don't think so, because there's not aside from guys that are running Outlaw versus Extreme, not Outlaw versus Extreme, Radio versus Modified, like not anybody that's in that league, let's say, is running small tires.
Yeah.
None of those cars are going even Pro 275. So I don't think it takes away from it. I think it adds to the sport. I think it's insane to see what it's doing, because it's as sad as it is to say, drag racing was dying before, and now more events. We were just talking about on the way here. It's going to be
more payouts.
two or three events a month in the winter. That's insane. Before it's a couple events for the whole winter.
Yeah, Bradenton from October to March, there's something going on. Yeah. Period. Like it's just something.
It makes
going
up
on.
for this past few months that we've had, because if the only thing going on at Bradenton was rain.
Yeah.
Still.
For sure. But to answer your question, I don't agree, because by that logic, then you would say the NHRA focuses on top fuel, and nitro. And there's so much more to NHRA than that. But every event, every movie has like a lead character. And like, you go to see Wolf on Wall Street because of Leonardo DiCaprio, but you have a great time because it's a great movie. It's not just Leonardo DiCaprio. So to me, I think we are building the events around Pro Mod being like the highlight, like the stars of the show. But that doesn't take away from anyone else. I mean, what those guys do on radials and small tires is absolutely insane. I would love to do separate races where we have like a small tire event and then a Pro Mod event. But it's very difficult to do because we have such a small window of time that we're able to do events, at least in Bradenton. And then, if I go outside of those months, then I'm stepping on the toes of other promoters and doing events on top of theirs. And also it works really well because it's a lot of the same drivers, a lot of the same tuners, a lot of the same team owners, a lot of, all these guys, they're, let's say me and Mac travel the country, we race together and we share parts. Like, that exists between Pro Mod, Pro 275, Radio vs. the World, LDR. There's tons of guys that have an LDR car, a Pro 275 car, and a Pro Mod, Scott Tidwell Racing that Lyle drives for. So Lyle drives NHRA Pro Mod. Ken Cartuccio drives NHRA Pro Mod. They both have Outlaw Pro Mods that they race. Like Scott Tidwell Racing also has, I think, 2 LDR cars, 1 Pro 275 car, or 2 Pro 275 cars. Like,
yeah, they're pretty stacked up.
Yeah, but these guys want to participate in the big event, because it doesn't matter why the event is big. Like when I'm racing at, I've raced at World Cup finals in some of the lower classes. Like I think one year I ran like 950 index when they used to have index racing. When I'm racing at World Cup finals in 950 index, if I win, I'm winning a huge event. The event's not huge because they're paying $1,500 to win 950 index or whatever it is. The event's huge because they're paying $25,000 to the pro import guy. You know what I mean? And that's why the stands are packed. But I'm okay with it. I don't care. I won World Cup finals, So I think it's about creating a big event and a big stage. And however you do that, I don't think it alienates others.
No, I don't think it alienates anyone. And like that's why even like there's a resurgence of like Outlaw 10.5 is because of these big events where these people want to bring their Outlaw 10.5
and they want to participate. There were Outlaw 10.5 cars that were collecting dust for years, and now they want to participate. They came to World Series of Pro Mod last year, and it was, I mean, it was a ton of fun to watch. Like, I didn't even think it was going to be as cool as it was, but watching those 10.5 cars race at World Series of Pro Mod last year was insane. There was guys doing wheelies through the 8th mile. Like it was sick.
Yep.
But
Stuff you only see on old YouTube videos.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Those guys, those cars were collecting dust. They were excited to come out and be a part of this huge event. Why was it a huge event? It was a huge event because we were paying $100,000 to win, and we had the baddest boys and girls in the world that drive pro mods.
And I think you're even, in an interesting spot because you're seeing some of the No Prep King guys venture out because
I think
Prep Kings is
No Prep Kings is
in the ether now.
Yeah, they're in a weird spot. They have an amazing fan base, so they still have killer events, and the stands are always packed for their events. But I mean, there's two things going on there. A lot of people just haven't realized it that aren't like in the know, but a No Prep Kings car is a pro mod with steel roof and steel quarters. Front to back.
Yep.
Same drivetrain, same suspension, same tuners, same.
So
it's a pro mod.
Win $100,000, you're going to bring it out.
Yeah,
wherever
exactly.
you can go.
Well, that and they're spending. Back to what we said earlier. They're spending the same money. So when they see that we're doing this and we're racing for this much money, and that there's this opportunity to do something completely separate that doesn't overlap with their existing schedule. Some of these guys are going to build pro mods, and they'll buy a chassis and they'll take their drivetrain in the winter.
Swanstrom's a great example of that.
In the winter, Swanstrom will take his stuff out of his one car, put it in the pro mod car, and come out here and race with the best of the best. Because if you're a drag racer, you're just a competitive person. You want to compete with the best of the best. You want to win. You don't want to win against a guy that rented a minivan at a racetrack. Like, you want to beat the baddest dude on the property. You want to earn your win, and you want to brag about it, and you want it to be big. This is it. This is the biggest, baddest race of the year because we get racers from PDRA, Midwest Pro Mod, NMCA, Northeast Pro Mod, like everybody in one place. NHRA Pro Mod, like all the drivers, all the baddest tuners in the world, the best of the best.
Yeah, and going back to the making the rules, like a lot of people overlook that. It's not as fun to win a class when you're racing a 12-second car in the other lane.
Yeah.
Because you're a competitor. You know what I'm saying? So you go and you have a class, like it feels at like World Series of Pro Mod and stuff like that, it feels good to even make it in the field because it's such a tight field.
Yeah.
And then I remember there was a bunch of shit last year or the year before in the import stuff, like with Apex turbos, and it's bullshit that they outlawed them and this, that, the other. But you have a car that's going, a tenth and a half or 2 tenths faster than the whole field.
We're putting
it's a 32
15 mile an hour on
it's
everyone.
a 32 car field that's for front wheel drive stick shift cars. If that 32 car field is within 2 or 3 tenths, that's insane.
Yeah.
And like Sport Front, or what is it, Super Street at World Cup Finals, one of the best classes to watch because it's competitive. Yeah. But if you didn't have somebody knocking those guys down that go 2 tenths faster than the whole class. I was a guy going 2 tenths faster than the whole class at one point.
It's not fun. I don't want to win that way. I never want to win that way. I actually have enjoyed wins as the underdog more than ever being the guy that was supposed to win. And very rarely in drag racing does the guy that's supposed to win.
No, because you just have to make it to that.
Yeah, like there's only one way that you can really win a drag race, and there's a million that you can lose it. I always say that, and people don't understand. If you go to a drag race and you look at the ladder, look at the number one qualifier across the board, you're like, oh, that guy's going to win. It hardly ever happens.
No. Yeah, we watched the number one qualifier in X go out in the third round, spun the tire.
I've seen him go out first round. You know what I mean? You could spin the tire, you can red light, you can brake, you can cross the lane, a million things can happen.
Yeah, if you show up at World Cup, forget to put heat in your motor.
Oh my gosh,
you're a cook, dude.
That's a big problem.
We got to start warming our engines up now.
Yeah, World Cup's always a good one because he's so detailed about the rules, and
that would be the worst.
It's a different sort of race. It's a completely different race than anything else because it crosses everyone over.
The hardest race in the world to do rules for.
Yes,
because he takes cars that run 8th mile all year and puts them in a quarter-mile class. He's got to figure out what that's going to translate to. He takes cars that never race against each other ever except for at his race and makes them race against each other. So the import versus domestic thing, that rule book is insane. And I mean, it's not always perfect, but it's always very close. But man, I would hate to be the person that has to come up with that rules package.
Oh, it's completely insane, all of it. Yeah. Trying to get in where you fit in and changing your car and some nitrous cars trying to run quarter mile, but then suddenly they're just coasting at 1,000 feet and they're still out on everyone and you're like, maybe he wasn't in the right class.
Yeah, but it's one of those things until you do it, you just don't know. But they stay on top of it. A lot of people would have by now kind of gotten stagnant and just like kind of let it ride, dude. For an event that's held one time a year, they put a lot of effort into those rules, and they're watching the racing all year to figure out what to do that one event of the year.
Yep, I think they just made a rule change last week.
Yeah, it's like
and you know we just registered last week or the week before that. You know, for first round of registration, we were talking about World Cup on the way over here. Like, it's a difficult race for racers, but it's one that I'll never miss. You know, like it's a hard race for racers for a lot of reasons. Like, it's expensive. It's far away for a lot of the guys.
Almost everyone.
Almost everybody. And it's a long race, you know. We showed up on Sunday last year for parking on Tuesday, and we were late. Yeah. We were like 4 or 5 rows deep.
The conditions vary so much because it could be warm
I've been there
and
snowing,
cold.
And I've been there in a T-shirt.
And the conditions vary so much because of the tires. Like, some classes are all slick, some classes are all radial, some classes are both. So if you're just in the back of the lane, or like you're in the back of the run order, and you got a slick car just tearing the lineup, and you get up there with your radials, like, that's a hard race to win.
Yeah.
If you have a cup, there's 99% chance that you busted your ass to win that thing.
Yeah, we tried to put a motor in the car in between rounds.
Yeah.
Right before the semifinal.
Yeah, and as rounds go and go and go, the time in between rounds gets shorter and shorter and shorter. Yeah. Winning a cup is a huge deal, man.
And
like, amazing
that
race.
Final day is cool because you go to some events and like nothing against it, but like TX2K, like during the finals, there's not like the stands aren't that crowded because normally people come on Saturday and they're not really there Sunday.
Yeah.
Dude, it was dark.
They're there Sunday.
There's people.
I think that's also a Northeast thing.
I'm saying
I think
it was
in the
dark.
Northeast, I think we've talked about this before. In the Northeast, people always. A lot of people work on Saturday, so they show up on Sunday.
Yeah.
Where I feel like in the South, it's not as common because like Saturday is always the biggest day at any of our races. Don't get me wrong, Sundays we have some strong Sundays, but there are more people on Saturday than there ever are on Sunday. It's just what it is.
That's why even for me, like when I'm not if I'm not racing in an event, I don't show up on Saturday. I show up on Sunday when
but you're
it's
a racer.
Quiet and I get to go cruise the pits in the finals.
Yep. But you're a racer that understands the difference.
Yes. But on Sunday morning this year, I looked out the window because this was the first year I stayed at the track. And I looked out the window of the toter in the morning, and it was still dark. Yeah. And you could see people's umbrellas already up. Yeah. They were claiming their spots in the pits. I mean, in the stands. Like, it's, like I said, it's one of the hardest events as a racer. Yeah. I think it cost me like $25,000 last year to go there.
Dude, you wake up and it's like everything has ice on it. It's frozen. The cars don't even want to turn on.
Oh, I had to leave it in the trailer.
Yeah, dude, it's
and
nuts.
I had to leave the generator running with the heater on under the hood because I burnt the starter earlier in the week trying to start it because it was cold. But I've also been there when it's 70 degrees. Yeah. It's crazy. You never know.
And it could be the same event.
Yep. It could have been 70 on Wednesday and 40 on Saturday.
Have they changed it that you can race there yet? That are they allowing engine, like import engine in a domestic and vice versa?
They allowed it in stick shift and they allowed it in like
I think X275 or something.
Yeah, and I have people messaging me. They're like, "You can run in the class now," and I'm like, "Do you know what X275 is?"
Might not qualify.
I'm like, I don't think I'm getting in there.
I think I only mentioned. I think Eric Jarvis he put an LS in his car, right? The S2000.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. So he left the K Series deal and he put an LS, and I think he plans to run World Cup.
That car's already been fast though, so I mean he should be able to run.
He's been fast with the LS too. He just did it.
Yeah.
I mean, but
so makes sense.
I saw that he was planning.
Well, I mean, you can run
there.
certain classes like Warriors.
Yeah.
If you run the Warriors rules, it has a very
you know,
because it's not super defined as to this is a domestic.
Just got to get that thing in the sixes, Coop.
That's it. I know.
What are you waiting on?
Who would have thought it's so easy? It's just like you do a turbo swap, right? And I go to like a 94 and I'm good.
Yeah, you can do it with an 88. How heavy is that thing?
It's 3,200 with me in it.
Maybe a 98.
Yeah. I may get 1 or 2 qualifiers out of a motor at that weight.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to run as hard as you need to run, you're gonna be leaning on that thing.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'd be better off putting a clutch in it and trying to go stick shift racing.
Yeah. Sure, do you remember how to drive a stick shift car?
I'd figure it out. Those guys with the slipper clutches now, I like stick shift racing,
clutch
but it's taken a lot of the
strain gauge,
old school, oh man, diaphragm
it's still
clutch,
fun,
slipping
though.
it. oh, it's still awesome.
Yeah.
But
that's
But
my
the thing
favorite
is that,
class
like,
to watch at every race.
But for the class to survive and be entertaining and like be fun to watch, the cars had to get more consistent.
Yeah.
So the changes that have happened needed to happen. But to your point, it's not the same as it was.
it's borderline manually shifted 400 with, because once they dump the clutch out, it does its own thing, and then they
still got to get it right, though. You know, the clutch tune-up's a hard thing to do, and it's like
probably arguably harder to get the clutch tune-up right than it is to slip it with your foot.
yeah, that's probably true. But like just watching that class, the last 3 years, it had Evos and STIs in it a couple of years ago at TX2K, and now they have to make a slow class.
Yep.
Yeah.
For those cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great class, and I don't want to take anything away from them.
But maybe a stick shift in your car would be cool.
Yeah, it would.
It still has like the dead pedal of where a clutch
And what's
used to
cool
be.
about stick shift, at least like at FL2k and TX2k, is that there's more than one class.
Yeah.
So like even if you went at 8.0, you would still qualify, and you would maybe hopefully be in the second group of cars. You know what I mean?
I know it would be cool, but it like you're saying, the clutch stuff, like getting under
I
there.
think once you get it right, it's pretty right.
Yeah.
I think the hard clutch tune-ups are in the, Lenko cars and stuff like that. Like the orange Supra Titans car.
Yep.
That's a clutch that's coming out of the car every round or every other round at least. To
Might have to look
check
into
it
the
and make
stick
sure
shift
it's
thing,
right.
Coop.
It would be pretty interesting. Yeah.
I'd kind of like to see it. I think it would be cool.
I think Alpha said some mean things when I actually suggested it to him. I think he was less than kind to me in a text.
in Alpha,
If that doesn't surprise you.
In Alpha's defense, when he is talking about stick shift racing, he is thinking of guys that have like a 6-speed Supra and like probably don't even have a cage and like have just a bullshit clutch and like a not great drag race setup. You know what I mean? Yeah, the car's gonna be leaving and bouncing and hopping all up and down the track. A car that was properly set up with like a good clutch, a strain gauge, a dog box, like the whole nine,
Yeah.
he would love it.
It
But-
would be cool.
But there's very few people doing that with 2J cars. It's becoming more prominent now. Like you got
What's the
John
IDS
Rogers.
car?
Yeah, John Rogers is doing it, Joel Granis, but there's not a lot of them doing it.
Rogers has a good program going
Yeah.
for what they got.
Yeah, and now that they've got an engine that they're able to lean on and not worry about, hopefully, with that new dart block, the 2J block, that car should do some things. But I mean, that's another cool thing about stick shift is like John Rogers has come to the reunion and won, right? And gone to the finals and stuff with a car that goes 7.0 because the guys that go 6s may kick the tire. Like being consistent in stick shift racing is more important than being fast.
I've won most of my races by just being able to actually make it to the finish
the end
line
of the
every
race.
Yeah,
time.
yeah, 100%.
Like most of my trophies, if you look at them,
This is the only way I've
it's
ever won.
like it's like, oh, he just war of attrition half the time and actually made it to the finals.
100%.
Made it to the finish
Yeah,
line.
and
That was me at the
I ended up
reunion
winning
2
a
years in a
small
row.
tire class that the Wasabi Supra was in one day, and just because they broke.
Yeah.
But that's what it is, and I try to tell my customers that all the time. Like, we need bigger turbos, we need this, we need that, and I'm like, no, you
Not
don't,
always,
Actually,
yeah.
this car's won a lot of races exactly out as it is, because most of the time that guy that is 2 or 3 tenths faster than the whole class doesn't make it to the end of the race.
Breaks it, drops the ball somewhere, spins the tire, and that's
Like,
the
how
other thing
many
too.
of the number one, like you said, how many of the number one qualifiers in X or in any of them win the race? I mean, with the exception of Pro Mod, because they almost always make it to the end, because for whatever reason they're insanely reliable.
Yeah, those
but
things are
like,
dialed in, yeah.
it's when he was talking about it earlier. I've said it so many times. Like, the field is so tight. If you don't leave the starting line first, you almost always lose the race.
Yeah,
which
or,
is crazy.
Like my boy Lasala, if he number one qualifiers, there's a high chance he's also going to end up in the winner's circle.
That's it. He's
Statistically
an
speaking,
outlier.
He is an outlier.
Dude,
on
that
Belfort.
season, dude, that season, his season last year was
For sure, but there's
insane.
also comparatively not as much competition in the class that he has been in compared to like Pro Mod. There's in Pro Mod, if you qualify, Spencer Hyde qualified 32 and won World Series of Pro Mod.
Yep.
You can't do that in most classes, but Pro Mod is that close. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If Brett was racing 31 cars that were all within a tenth of him, within less than a tenth of him,
no doubt, yeah,
it'd be different. You know what I mean? Not to take anything away from his car. The car is amazing. He cuts a light. Him and his tuner don't ever miss. It seems like they got it, no doubt about it. But the competition, the level is just way different.
Yeah. I think they actually did have some really good competition at Mod Knots.
Yep. They did.
End of the reunion.
Yeah.
Because I think it was him and Cocomelon were
him,
dead next to each other, and
Larry, Keith Ray, which is awesome. So like for years we've been like really like I've wanted to grow the Extreme 28s class at FL2k.
Yeah.
And then we started doing Extreme 28s at the reunion. And like anything else, it took a little bit of time to catch on, and now people are like building their cars with that class, you know, in their mind, and you know, with the intention of dominating that class and looking at the rule book, because that's probably the biggest downfall of the street car thing, is that most of us, we build the car because like we want to, and we want to beat like that guy over there.
Or you just had it and kept making it faster.
And like you just set a goal. But then in the end of it, you set your goal, you want to go 690s. Cool, I went 690s. But now you have a setup that doesn't fit rules for anything.
For anything.
Yeah,
I
like
did
at
that
all.
with my car.
Like that happens so much in the street car and import world that it's like it's so hard to do rules, because there are guys that have a combination that can go a lot faster than it does, but they're on a budget or whatever. So like they just bought a huge, you know, Precision 88 because they got a deal on it, but they only go 780s. You know what I mean? So it makes it hard to like do the rules and control it, because that same turbo can go 680s on a different car. But anyways, now that people are actually like building cars with that class in mind, that class is getting really good. And I think that, Extreme 28s at the reunion was sick.
It's my most excited class to see go forward. It's basically like, and the rules are really good, mostly because they keep Garrett out, but they're really they're just really tight on that, where they keep like the X275 cars out.
Yeah. No, so that's been the hardest part for me, is to keep those cars out, but also in the beginning keep the class open enough that so many cars that like didn't fit street car anymore or didn't really belong in street car anymore had a place to go.
Switch. Like a lot of
them did, but you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how many of these guys, and I'm not trying to like call anyone out, but they're fucking soft.
Yeah.
How
RC
many of them?
Mostly.
No. But there's
Jim Braun now.
There's been people that, instead of wanting to class up, they're looking at like, well, what can I do to stay in street car? Like, bro, you went 660s. Get out of my inbox is what you can do. Try to go 650s and run Extreme 28s rather than run 660s and run the guys that go 7.0 and 7.1.
Yeah.
You know? I'm calling them out.
I don't even know if I could run Extreme 28s.
Stop.
My car doesn't get hot either. Maybe I could put it. And I do have taillights.
Put it in street car?
Yeah.
Put Kimbo in street car?
Yep.
Yeah, I think the goal for Extreme 28s is to keep it like a high 620, like a 628 to like a 640.
Yeah.
If we can keep it there, it'll be great. But it's going to take some time. Like, everyone's got to work with us on this, because we've only really done it once a year for a couple of years now. And then now twice a year. Like, it'll get better and better as it goes. But like, I think after FL2k, we'll be able to have the rules really, really dialed in if they're not perfect already. And
there's
I think it'll
cars
be good.
that aren't necessarily being built for that class, but they're coming from other classes into that.
Yeah, and that's what we wanted to do.
There's chassis sitting around all over that people don't realize that have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Well, pretty much X cars,
Yeah.
pro cars,
Well,
with the right weight and stuff like that, and depending on like the combination, you can take that chassis and that whole setup and make it fit the class relatively easily.
But that was the challenge, was keeping a Pro 275 car from showing up and running 580s, because you can't have a 5-second car in that class. Like, that class will survive and be healthy in the low 6-second range, and it's so much fun to watch. I don't care what anyone says. Like, when Extreme 28 is running, it's entertaining.
I'm laughing because I know LaSala's car is going to be, his new car is likely going to be done for that class at FL2k, I'd imagine.
Well, I don't know if it'll be done in time.
Goals.
I'm sure 5s are the goal for the car, but probably not with that rule set, because he has to be a certain weight and he can only run a certain turbo size, and it's very similar to what he had previously.
Yeah.
So, the rule package is similar to what his combination was. So, yeah, I mean, if he has a better chassis in some way, shape, or form, or if he can, I think there was some room for him to drop some weight. He may go faster, but at the end of the day, we're going to change the rules if that happens. If it gets out of hand, and we're going to dial it back in and get him to run what he needs to run.
And we're only 2 weeks, 3 weeks
we're
out.
like we're little less than 4 weeks away from the event.
Yeah.
And this car hasn't been seen, heard, or tested yet.
Yeah, it's not. I'm sure it doesn't have oil pressure. I'd imagine.
Yeah. So, but again, I mean, it is what it is. We'll keep it right.
Yeah.
But what's cool about a guy like Brett is that Brett is a competitor. Brett wants to be close to everyone else. Like he doesn't want to just run away from it. But Extreme 28 is going to be really good this year at FL2k. You got Larry with the Orange 240.
Yep.
We're bringing our Supra. Max bringing his car. Keith Rea. I mean, the list goes on, but there's probably, I want to say we had 20 entries already.
Well, the white rice, yeah. Do we have anything out? I wonder.
Dewey is.
I love white rice. I love
Dewey's
that car.
playing this one close to the chest. They have a tech card. I don't know what car they're bringing. I was told they're not bringing white rice. They might be bringing the taco truck with a new setup. I don't know.
Wasabi wouldn't fit.
No, Wasabi won't fit.
The Supra with zoomies.
Yeah, the Supra with zoomies and a 481X won't fit.
Yeah, it does not fit.
But I don't know. So and that's another one you can't count out. Actually, not. Yes, a Hemi. Yeah. But anyhow, yeah, I don't know what the white rice team is bringing, but they're bringing something.
Yeah.
You know, Brett has a tech card. I don't know if it was an oversight and he didn't realize he may not have a car, or if he's really going to push to have a car. I don't know. But I mean, it's going to be good. You have the Coco Melon cars coming back.
Coco Melon's badass.
Mike Reich's car, his new car, they're trying to get it done. And
finally.
It might make it for this event.
I thought Mike was just
Mike's golfing, I think. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing.
I thought he retired from racing.
But he's another one. He's great for the class because he's a competitor, man. That guy will do whatever it takes to win.
I've always enjoyed racing with Mike, even if he's burned down me and other people.
Listen, I don't think that a burn down exists.
Really?
I don't think there's a way to burn someone down. You can play your game.
You get burnt down.
So for people that don't realize, a burn down
but we both have an option. I cannot go in. There's nothing that says I have to go in. If my car is in danger of being burned down or whatever, if like I have a setup that my trans will get hot, whatever, then I'm not going in. That's it. You can't burn me down. Like it doesn't exist. We both have the exact same. We both have the exact same rules and the exact same opportunity. I hate when people talk about burn down.
I think you have to know your car and know the car next to you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
The track can burn you down because if it's not on auto start, they can mess up and the starter can burn you down. But
I think the starter's burned me down before.
The guy next to you can't burn you down.
Yeah.
And also when you're in the car, that 7 seconds, it's a long 7 seconds.
Yeah, it is.
It seems like 20 when you're in the car.
Can someone burn you down in really qualifying? Because you're in qualifying. You're not expecting somebody to like play something stupid or not go in. Right?
But still, I think you have to know who's next to you, what car is next to you.
But it's qualifying. Let go of the gas. Who cares?
No. I'm saying for like you shouldn't be able to.
No, but all right. If I bump in qualifying, I bump my car and I get on the 2-step, I bump in and you're not going in. I don't hear your car. I'm gonna let go of the gas and I'm gonna wait. And I'm gonna see what this idiot next to me is doing. And when he goes in, I'll go.
It down. You don't have to bump it in.
Yeah, I won't even bump in. Just roll into the second beam. Like you don't have. If you get burned down, you have to assume. We're going to call it 70% of the responsibility.
That's fair.
I mean, you have to think about it. It's not like you're the only one with 7 seconds.
Yeah, we both have the exact same rules to live by.
I've had some flickering bulbs screw me
Flickering
up.
bulb can mess up a burn down situation.
Yeah, that happened.
But again, not intentional.
That happened to a bunch of people at TX2K this year.
But you don't think about it. The guy next to you doesn't want to flicker the bulb because he may time out.
Go red,
yeah, exactly. It's like it's not intentional. These guys aren't that good.
Yeah,
they're not flickering the bulb to mess with you. They're not that talented.
I've had my car bumping deep before. I've had it not bumping at all, and I got to let off the brake and hold the button all the way down to get it to roll. Like
I've been in there too.
I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with this thing?
Yeah. So.
That happened at TX2K this year to a couple people where the bulbs were kind of flickering a little weird, and there was some.
They said something with sunlight the one year. Or was it the year before? Like
that was that was the year before. I think.
Yeah. There's always going to be things like that, and that track I don't think is a CompuLink timing system. Not to say that it's not good, but like maybe that has its differences or whatever. Because most of the tracks that we all run on are CompuLink.
Yeah.
And CompuLink is like the standard for drag racing.
It's like. Windows, like 94 ran on.
Yeah.
Hasn't been updated in like.
But it's dialed in. It's dialed in.
Might take a little time to warm up.
It's dialed in.
But when it's up and running, it's going.
Dialed in.
I do enjoy the CompuLink, and I love like the lore of like there's like one guy that knows the system.
It's terrible.
It's very fun. Like,
yeah, I mean,
you realize it all hinges on one guy.
Very similar to the
I'm
guy
not ready
with
for
New
this.
Balances tuning the carburetor.
I'm not ready for this conversation.
Yeah, and then like we're like the lightning capital of the world, of course.
Yeah, one of the first things I did when I got the track was go to the fiber optic. And then we got the new tree, which is also badass. I love the tree with the blue lights, and they don't flicker as much. And like they're just, I don't know, I like it better. But yeah, I mean, either way, I'm really excited for FL2k. And I guess, man, you know, not to pick favorites, but Extreme 28s probably has me the most excited.
Yep.
And Stick Shift. Stick Shift is racing for 20 grand. That's the highest stick shift payout that I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
And what I've seen in the past is those big payouts, they bring out the best of the best, and they bring out the best in each driver and team.
Front-wheel drive's getting pretty good, too.
Oh, I mean, front-wheel drive's been racing for 20 grand for years now at FL2k.
But, like, they're, like, in the last maybe 2 years, it seems like it's ramped up. Like, they've kind of really spread their wings a little bit.
No, it's true. I mean,
to hate on them,
it's
like, they used to suck.
great competition. The biggest problem is keeping the cars together because the class just has kind of gotten to a point where it's just, dude, we're making the same power per cubic inch that a Hemi and a Pro Mod makes.
Yeah.
Like in a little 4-cylinder. So keeping them together is the hardest part, but the racing has gotten really good. The rules are pretty solid. They don't change very much at all. They don't vary very much at all.
The teams have started to get dialed in themselves.
Yep. People are realizing that you don't have to go out there and be a hero every time. You just got to race your race, which, you know, it just makes it better racing.
You won last year, right? Or did
no,
you
I've only won the reunion. Last year at FL2k, I sucked.
Yeah.
Well, my car sucked. My car broke. I was being cocky, and I was also busy running the event. I did one qualifier, and I was like, I'm good. And then first round of qualifying, my clutch broke, which had I done a couple more qualifiers, probably would have happened. I probably would have fixed it, and I would have been in. And honestly, I had a car that could have won. That car is always a car that can win. It's just a good car. If it's running, it can do well if it doesn't break. But anyways, you know, that's racing, and I learned my lesson of, you know.
Yeah. And this year at the reunion, the guy next to you blew up.
Yeah.
At like 200 feet.
No, it was more than that. I think I clicked third gear and I looked over and he was gone, but he was next to me or almost in front of me until that point. I left before him, and then but like that's how I won reunion the year before too. Was that I just made it up there for every round. You know what I mean? I made it up. I went. You know, I didn't set any records. I didn't even run as good as I did in qualifying, but I went down the track every single time, cut a good light every single time, and went 8-0 or 8-1. And I got it done, you know. But it's it'll be interesting to see. FL2K is tricky because of the conditions too. It's, you know, you qualify during the day and night. You put up a crazy number last round of qualifying, usually because it's in the night, and then first round in the morning.
It's raining.
It's hot or raining. Yeah, and like it's not the same track, so your tuner plays a big role in that as well. FL2K is a hard one to win. Another really competitive race, and you know it's a lot of money, and people all want to win.
Yeah.
And it's not just the money. Saying that you beat these people, like you beat the quickest, you know, hopefully the quickest field in front wheel drive, or saying you beat whoever it is that you had to beat to get there, when you hold that trophy, makes all the difference.
Yeah, it's just like we were talking about earlier with like World Cup. When you win an event like that caliber, it doesn't like. You know that the baddest of the bad is in that class.
Yeah, you don't get any handouts at any of these races.
The money's gone quick, but the trophy and that bragging rights.
The money's gone. The money's gone. You spend more than that to win it, usually.
Yeah. People said something to me the other day about these $100,000 payouts in Pro Mod. I'm like, you guys don't get it.
Yeah.
It cost $1 million to race at that race. You would have to win every Pro Mod event for 2 years straight and hope that you also didn't break or refresh anything to go back to even. Like it.
It's 100. If you win 100,000 at a Pro Mod race, you likely can't buy another engine. Like you can't even buy. Like I'm gonna treat myself to buy a spare engine.
If you wanted to cover your costs from the event first, you're coming out of there with 60 grand. You know,
if you're lucky, that's if you didn't
break anything.
Yeah,
you might be able to get the spare like blower hat to blower. You know?
But that's also why
for fuel for the next event.
Just for the rig.
That's also why Wes and I have always felt so strongly that unless it's like, you know, in a series it's different, but like these standalone races where Pro Mod is the headline and Pro Mod is the reason that a lot of people are there, that they should race for more money and they should be treated better.
Yeah.
because the cost of entry is so great.
Yeah.
So you're
Not
spending
even necessarily the cost of entry, because the cost of entry into the race isn't that much.
No. Cost of entry of like getting into the sport.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's like 8 guys you got to get rooms for.
Yeah, like
and,
imagine
fly 'em in and,
imagine if, back to what I was talking about, like, so, Snowbirds is a show, right? So let's say the show is Wolf on Wall Street, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. Imagine he had to pay $1 million to do that.
To be the actor.
Yeah, to be the actor.
It's crazy.
And then if he won like an award, he got 1.2 million. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how it's supposed to work.
When I was the guy that was 2 to 3 tenths faster than the class, they used to. This is GTR racing, so it's not real racing, but
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's what it is. But in their eyes, they said, "This isn't fair. You're stealing money." We're racing $100,000 cars that have $150,000 into them to win $2,500 or $5,000.
You bought it with the same money. It was still green.
I was a kid. I was like 23 years old at the time.
You're still a kid.
And I was I was 23 years old, and these guys are complaining that I'm stealing money, and and of course it's on Facebook, and I'm just writing back. I'm like, are you guys fucking delusional? No one gets into drag racing, period, to make money.
Yeah.
Winning that $5,000 doesn't even come close to scratching the
and you
surface
coulda lost.
for the cost to get to the event.
Yeah, and just
so
because your car was
nobody's there
faster
like
didn't mean that you were gonna win.
nobody's sitting there like, wow, I built this car to win all this money,
You
and this
probably
guy's taking it all.
probably also cut a better light than those guys and didn't break. You know what I mean? Like, there's more to it than just being.
You didn't
quicker
build
than
it with
them.
like a business plan to like, this
Yeah.
is how I'm gonna
That's what I'm
double
saying.
my money
this
in
is
5
how
years.
my car is going to make me money. Like that.
If somebody has
for
figured
me,
that out,
actually,
if
that
you're
was
out there-
probably for me. That was probably actually one of the only, upsides to that, because you're not. I was actually racing it for business.
Yeah, to
you know what
bring
I'm
in
saying.
business, yeah.
But at the end of the day, it wasn't making me money.
If you figured out how to race and make money,
Yeah,
you can tell us how. I'll give you 10%.
No, it's easy.
They might be bracket
No,
racers.
it's easy.
Maybe.
You're taking turns. Those guys make money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When was the last time you heard somebody getting paid a couple $1 million to win a drag race?
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, if
I
you
wish.
if
We
you
should just
turn
get in a fucking
like somebody
NASCAR.
like Lewis Hamilton make like $55 million contract a year, it's like
Yeah.
insanity.
Turning, your suit size is small.
Yeah, that helps.
All stuff like that.
So you know what, too, Coop, we got to talk about 30 under 30 alumni right here.
Yeah, what the heck?
We need you to get in there. dude.
Yeah,
Drag
you
Illustrated
gotta get-
30 under 30. Go nominate Cooper. I'm asking you
I briefly
to nominate Cooper.
I briefly scrolled through your AI.
Yeah, he had
thing on
AI.
Victor's.
If you go on my
the way here,
post, he had
actually.
AI, plead his case of why he is eligible and why he deserves it.
I wish that was a thing.
I
last
stopped
year.
reading
my way
early
up would have been
on.
a little easier.
You like that? It was way too boastful.
But seriously, like, Drag Illustrated 30 under 30. If you think Cooper's, deserves it, go and nominate him, because it would be cool.
In
Garrett's
fairness-
done it. We've gotten in it.
In fairness, this past year has been my least amount of like seat
But-
time.
But if you just so to me, and I have, I don't know why I was picked even, right? But to me,
Well,
it should be based on the impact that you have on the sport, not your participation necessarily. Which your participation can lead to an impact, but it shouldn't be just based on, this guy raced a bunch and this guy did well. It should be your impact on the sport. That's my opinion. And your impact between this platform and other things that you've been involved in has been great. You race a lot. You're in the streetcar thing, like you're a big deal. You've raced at a lot of events, you've won a lot of events, and you've put so many new eyes on these events and on this sport, and I think you deserve it. So
Well, thank you. I appreciate
I'm
that.
rooting for you.
Well, Drag Illustrated 30 under 30.
Yeah.
It would be cool to, because this is my last year. I turned
Yeah,
30
this is
in
it. This
October.
is
This
his
the
last
end.
chance.
That was me
man.
too.
Come on.
But like in the beginning,
That's how I got in too.
Yeah.
When I won, that's what I said on your. When I won, so they do the you nominate in October, and then they announce at PRI, so first weekend of December. So I asked people to nominate me in October or whatever, and then November 15th I turned 30, and then I went to PRI and I got it. So technically I was 30 when I received it.
I mean, I didn't realize. because like I thought it was awesome that I got it, and then I saw the amount of entries. And it was like several hundred entries.
Yeah.
And you don't realize it because it kind of, no matter how big the industry and the community is, it kind of feels small. It kind of feels like, that guy,
It's
this
a
guy.
cool. It's a cool group of people to be amongst too, man. If you look at the previous 30 under 30, like there's some bad bad dudes and girls in that thing. Like Lizzie Musey was in it, rest in peace. My class was full of. I mean, we had one or two top fuel racers, and when I did it, when I got in.
See, my first thought was like, oh, who do I nominate? Because I was like, man, like I know so many people under 30 that are so deserving of this too. Yeah. Which is cool in itself that there's so many people under 30 that are deserving of it. For sure. But I always go to
and to that point, if you have somebody that you think is, in the drag racing community in any capacity, a racer, a tuner, a crew chief, a driver, a track prep person, a person that promotes events, whatever it may be. A media guy, Go on dragillustrated.com and nominate them, and don't say, oh, this guy's the man. Like, tell us why. Tell them why they should win.
Yeah, it is like that's the one thing that I think people lose sight of with the 30 under 30 is a lot of people they don't necessarily look at what the people are doing. They look at who's racing, who's winning races and stuff like that. But like somebody like I just mentioned, like Hayden, he captures all the things that we never actually capture. So you think back and you have all the memories in your mind
and he's a
of
diehard,
all those events.
He's a diehard like drag racing fan.
Yeah,
real deal.
But that's what makes his content so good, in my opinion. So like when he first reached out to me, like
the effects of like great media in our sport is so overlooked. Yep. Like, if it wasn't for all these good media companies that we're blessed to have, like 1320, look what 1320 has done for the streetcar scene.
Yeah, insane.
You know what I mean?
I remember being at TX2K 13 when Garrett was asking people for rides in their cars. Yeah. And I just thought it was like seeing him at the gas station, I'm like, that's pretty cool, and you would never think it turned into what it is now.
So media, tuners, people that work at tracks, people that promote events, influencers, racers.
They actually, sometimes I like to look at them as like they have a harder situation, or not harder situation, but like it's more grueling because they do all the same stuff, but they don't get that like little blip of like letting off the button. So it's even like, we get this like little reward.
You have to be more of a fan than even you and me are.
That's what I mean.
To really dedicate yourself to that, because
like people like Project Prime.
Yeah, like for us, we go to these events and we race and we have fun. We're adrenaline junkies. There are guys that like, they never sit in the car.
They're on the starting line for 8 hours with the camera.
Yeah.
In the sun.
Sure. Maybe they get some chicken fingers given to them.
Dude, and a lot of them, they love it, dude. They do it with a smile on their face, and they capture the memories, and they portray what we experience and get other people excited about it and get other people into it. It's awesome. I love it.
I think that, and the more you get those people that are actually, they're not just doing it because they know how to work a camera. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's been a different experience with me having Hayden with me for like the last year, because I have updates while I'm at the track, and that's something I've always wanted to do, but you're never going to do. You're servicing the car, you're turning it around, you're going to do this, getting tires, bringing the car to the lanes. Like, it's too much. And having people like that are involved in the sport and are like really there for it, they're not just there to take the pictures or to make the money, you know what I'm saying? Like, that dude loves racing. He gets clips of things that a normal photographer wouldn't get clips of. And it's like I said, you always have the memories in your head, but then you're like, damn, I wish we had pictures of that. I wish we had videos of that. And like, he'll be in between rounds editing stuff, or he'll say, like I would have had to get my last camera guy or something like that to be like, hey, let's do an update. He's like, yo, I need you for 30 seconds. Sit down, talk to the camera. That's it. You sit there for 30 seconds.
He knows what people want to see because he's a legitimate fan of drag racing.
You can tell when like a media company is just there that films like a wedding photographer comes out and it's like, why did you take this photo? Why did you film that? Like, that doesn't make sense for the context.
And also shout out to Drag Illustrated, because like the 30 under 30, when you like look at it from like, you take yourself out of it and look at it, it's really cool what they're doing there. And those kind of things that like drag racing doesn't have that. Like, we don't get Oscars and Grammys, and not that we like deserve it. It's not the same thing, but like the more that we uplift each other and reward each other and push each other and make drag racing a big deal. I sound like Wes Buck right now. But the more that we push this sport in that way, and that we say that it's a big deal and we treat it like it's a big deal, the more we'll be recognized that way and treated that way.
Yeah, but it has to be us, because nobody else is doing it.
That's what I mean.
Like, I watched that. You know how like F1 has Drive to Survive? NASCAR just came out with one in the winter, and I'm watching. I'm like, damn, I wish drag racing was like this. And like,
I hate that we all have those moments, and I hate that. Like I wish it was, you know, roundy round guy saying, "Man, I wish we had what drag racers have." Yeah.
Instead, tracks are closing like crazy. Like just go to PRI. Look at how much money is in dirt racing.
Yeah.
And other, you know, circle track racing and road racing and stuff like that. There's money in that stuff.
I was just at the Freedom Factory.
They keep investing.
Yeah.
They
It's
keep
back, right?
investing back in their sport, and that's what people like us, even us, I'm sure, have been guilty of it at some point before we're at our point where we are now. Is like, be like, man, this sucks. Instead of like, what can we do to make it better?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
And that's, you know, it all goes back to the 30 under 30 thing. Like, all these, it's not just people racing.
Yeah.
It's people that are involved in it, you know, doing podcasts, getting stuff out there. Because, like you said before we went on, or we might have already been on, like, some people don't realize that there are other people out there that feel the same exact way.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think it's and it's not just because Victor's my boy, but, like, I think it's the coolest thing in the world that there's more events. But he's one of the only tracks that's getting better and getting better and getting better. Not for nothing, I raced it as a track when I was a kid. I bet you I go back there right now, and it's the same.
It's either the same or worse.
And you look, and the thing that like hurts my heart is when you go to other tracks, like even Gainesville, when we had FL2k at Gainesville, the facility was insane. But you look at it and you're like, what was this like when it was brand new?
Yeah.
But nobody keeps up with it to keep it brand new. Nobody keeps up with it to keep updating it and
They
getting
don't
newer,
open
nicer
it.
stuff.
They don't open the doors.
But I'm talking about any other track.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
was
I'm
just
saying?
saying this earlier. It's like there are probably, unfortunately, more drag strips that are struggling than there are that are thriving, and that's an issue in itself too. But you know, like the 30 under 30, I hope, like, and there probably is. There's probably a person that's like 22 or 23 that they don't notice it, and most people probably won't notice it. But this may motivate them to be like, man, you know what? One year I want to like really have a good year and put myself out there for that. And that motivates them to be better and to push and to do more and to put themselves out there. And when they're doing that, they're putting the entire sport out there. You know, like they're going to go on their Facebook now and start promoting themselves a little more. And, you know, self-promotion is great. We need more of it. And then somebody from their, you know, one of their friends or their family that's never been to a track might be like, hey, man, next time you're racing, I'm going to come see you. Like,
Dude,
it goes round and round. That's what I mean. So,
you know,
we just got to keep doing that. That kind of stuff is great.
Like, dude, my whole family, aside from my dad, who loves the shit, and my mom obviously loves it too, but, like, you know, my aunt, my uncle, my grandparents, like, I don't think they realized what it was until they actually came out and saw it. Most of my family, until I had my first 1320 feature, just thought I was fucking around. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then I get a text like, hey, that was really awesome. Like, you know, all that stuff. And now anytime we're around, they can try to make it to as many races as they can. And like, just even that's 6 more people that just came in the door to make that racetrack more successful.
Yeah.
Well, that's how my dad felt when he first came to Bradenton and saw like his first race. It may have been the Christmas tree race or something, which is obviously one of the best races to go to if you're kind of like new to it all.
Yeah.
It's that's kind of a whole side subject, but my dad was like, "Wow, these are my people. I never knew this. Like these people are all clearly my people out here." And he's not a drag racer at all. He grew up in Westchester, New York, where it was like a city with just hills. And he was like,
Good
exactly. He was all in on the people and the atmosphere of drag racing he didn't even see what was going on down track. Like he didn't like he was more just like, wow, the environment is like,
yeah, it's awesome. I say this all the time. If my friends aren't going to an event, I'm not going. Like I love being with my friends and with my people. Like you know, if we can park next to each other, you know, I hate going to an event and not being parked next to my boys. Yeah. Like, I didn't go to, my car wasn't ready, but I didn't go to Yellow Bolt last year because, like, Mike Norman wasn't going. Like, the people that I wanted to be around weren't going. Yeah. So, like, I'm not going to take a 30-hour trip to go race by myself because a lot of, for me at least, love competing. But it is a huge thing about the environment because you're working so hard all the time.
Like, and that's why we all look so forward to FL2k and World Cup Finals and TX2K. It's like a family reunion because it's your friends from all over, all different states, different parts of the world, people you may have been friends with on social media that you've never even met in real life. Like you get to go hang out with them, and that's like the coolest thing. Like that's the best part of it.
it's crazy to see how far it's come. And I think the big eye opener year for me was Gainesville. Was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because not for nothing, it takes a lot to get an event to where it is now. Because there was TX2K and there was FL2K. And 6 years ago, they weren't on the same, TX2K had been around for so much longer. You go to FL2K, it was good, but it was a far smaller event. And now it's the same thing. It's like, it's amazing to see.
Just as many people, just as many cars, just as fast. If not
now it's something that people
competitive.
put in their schedule. Like, we got to go to that, Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about all-wheel drive Shootout, because you're in that, right? Garrett's deal?
I am in that with another car.
With a different car.
Yeah, because that's an interesting one, because that all of a sudden seems extremely competitive, and
Yeah, that back of the track stuff. So we don't even really
it's not
do
something
that.
you would promote or
No,
want to have
we don't even
happen.
really do it. But we let Garrett do it because he begged me, and it was really cool. And as long as we can keep it safe, whatever, we'll do it.
No spectators.
Yeah, no spectators at all. But like the idea, so he had the idea that he wanted to do another one, and then I don't know which one of us was like, dude, let's just do it the week of FL2K. So it'll be on Freedom Plus, which is also really cool. That's a perk of it being the week of FL2K.
Oh yeah, they're already set up and ready to go.
It'll be on Freedom Plus. And most of the people that were coming for all-wheel drivers, DCT and other classes, stick shift or whatever,
Too.
they're all signing up. And it's going to be a freaking...
Yeah.
We're getting 2 events that week.
No, there's and it's a stacked event. Like
I did not expect it to be
fast
32.
cars.
32 badass cars.
Heavy hitters.
Yeah. But the aspect of it being on the back of the track changes everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what
But
to
like
expect.
people at like Midnight Performance,
Yeah.
Miles with his Integra,
Yep.
you with whatever
Dude, yeah,
secret
that's
squirrel
so
car
cool.
you guys
Yeah,
have.
Yeah. And like, Midnight, they've come, but like they're coming with even more
I think
stuff than they normally do.
6 trucks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're bringing 6 trucks. They would normally come with 1 or 2. Miles is coming. You'll see Frustrate doing it. The car you're supposed to be driving.
I think that Javi's actually going to drive it. I
Yeah.
just registered it, but
Okay.
it's a clone to my car, but
all-wheel drive.
all-wheel
So
drive.
Turbo 400 all-wheel drive
Turbo
GTR.
400 4-link all-wheel drive,
Okay.
and so it's got a
4-link and all-wheel drive is
Yep.
pretty
So
And
I
isn't
think-
Garrett didn't Garrett build a whole new truck for this?
He
The
put
Dale
all-wheel
truck,
drive
right?
on his Dale truck.
And he redid the chassis
Yeah.
essentially.
Oh yeah. It's like a whole new
Yeah,
deal.
it's gonna be
What is it?
crazy.
10 grand to win, right?
I don't even know.
I think it's
Yeah.
that's the best part is that most people aren't even doing it for the money, but I think
No.
it's 10 grand to win.
I didn't even know what it was.
I think I'm pretty sure it's 10 grand.
Yeah, I had thought it was something he was giving something away or something. I didn't even care. I just
Yeah,
wanted
everybody wants to be
there.
a part of it,
Yeah.
and I get text messages and phone calls like literally weekly. Hey man, is there any way? I'm like, dude, it's we could have done 64 cars if we wanted to.
Yeah.
But time and
And try to, make sure that you weed out some of the guys that just want to come to like
no, dude,
to do
get
it.
their ass kicked
But like
in.
you want like heavy
I'm
hitters.
gonna tell you something right now. It was hard to pick.
Yeah, because there's like fast diesel stuff.
Dude, there were so many. If, let's just say 60 cars signed up, or tried to sign up rather, 58 of them were badass cars that could have won.
Yeah.
Like, it was all insane.
Is your car the
stuff.
purple one that Hayden built? Is that though?
Yes.
Okay,
So
so-
it's at Hayden's shop right now.
Okay.
So
I know Hayden. Hayden is well known on YouTube as well. He builds Boosted Boys, a bunch of Boosted Boys
Oh, really?
stuff.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's building
So
Kyle's.
he did all the titanium work in that purple car.
Okay.
We brought it out and tested it at FL2K rear wheel drive last year.
Yep.
And then we had just brought it out all wheel drive a couple months ago, and now it's getting 4-linked.
Cool.
And so that was the first time out with it with a transfer case in it, because the first time we used the transfer case in my car, as soon as we turned the lockup on, it fucking obliterated the thing. So we had to get a bunch of billet parts for it and stuff like that. So it's got a Turbo 400 with an R32 GTR transfer case and a billet adapter plate on it.
Wow.
It's hydraulically controlled, and it's got a regular R35 front diff. We have custom drive shafts from Drive Shaft Shop and stuff like that.
Okay.
So we had to cut the output shaft and then mill it and respline it
Jeez.
to go into the transfer case.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
I like
but-
rear wheel drive more than this.
Well, we want to try it. We want the goal with the car. We hope it makes it. So if you know Hayden, call him after this. Can you give him some motivation?
Hayden, come on. Stop working on Kyle's. What is he building? He's building a NSX for Kyle.
Oh,
Stop
really?
building that.
Yeah, so we're hoping the car makes it to to Garrett's thing, but the end goal for the car is to try to go for that all-wheel drive record. It's
What's
like 634 or something like that.
Who did that?
Is that an Australian car?
Yeah, I forget what they're.
Is it like a 34 or something?
R32.
32.
I forget what the.
I think it's
name
a
of
black
the,
32.
It's black, yeah.
And it
I know
basically
exactly
hangs
what
the
car you're
front
talking about. I
end.
think
Yep,
it's sick,
and then
dude.
goes down the track like this the whole way. It's badass.
If you're watching, let me drive that thing.
Yeah.
One pass.
That's a badass car.
Let me just make one pass.
I forget. I don't know. If I said the name, I would butcher it. But it's something with an M, and they're in Australia, and they have some badass shit. So all that stuff is actually also going to be at this GTR festival
in Texas.
in
But isn't that like the week
Dallas,
after?
the week after World Cup Finals. So we might have to do a couple
That's
part
tough.
swaps there.
Yeah, I
luck.
think
in that week in the trailer on the way back.
Andrew Hawkins and T1 are working on that deal down in Dallas, right?
I've heard about it. I don't know
GTR
who's doing it.
festival.
Yeah, so it's going to be at the same track as TX2K. And it's supposed to be pretty big. They're bringing a lot of cars, and they're incorporating a lot of street cars too. A big GTR show,
Yeah.
and now that everything's 25 years old, there's a lot of 34s, 32s, 33s.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a really cool thing to see. But I'm excited to see some of those cars in the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, just the Australian cars, that is worth the price of admission. Those things,
Dude,
are
they've got
sick.
R34 GTRs going 7s.
Yeah, those things are 6s. I'm pretty sure
black
one
one
went
is front
6s with a clutch, or something like that.
They're
A blue one.
yeah, they are
Dude,
pretty awesome.
No, those Aussies, when it comes to those cars, they're badass.
The R32s
Yeah, they're really,
are good platforms from what I've seen. I mean, they go fast with them.
We have an R32 drag car actually at the shop.
Oh, cool.
That we've
Man.
never done anything with.
You guys are so lucky 2Js never came all-wheel drive.
I mean,
We would just be beating the crap out of
have you guys? I'm sure
Or if they were
everybody's seen
just
those.
cheaper too. Like
Yeah.
if it wasn't a
Yeah.
Supra, if they came in like a
Yeah,
I'm
something
sure
2J
everybody's.
all-wheel drive.
I'm sure everybody's seen those, right? There was that red 240 that was 2J
Yeah, no,
all-wheel
there's a couple
drive.
people who've done
There was
conversions.
an IS that was
Yeah, there's a
all-wheel
blue
drive,
IS, there's a
and
blue
then
or a gray IS wagon, the red 240.
there
They're
was
all in South
another-
Florida.
There's another one out in Cali. They made it out in Cali, but what are they using?
No idea.
Because
No idea.
they would never post anything about it.
My
They would
street
never-
racing days are long gone, my friend, so I don't even know.
Because my thing is the 2J will work, and we obviously know how to make the transfer case on a Turbo 400 work.
I mean, you could probably
But
get.
what about the front? What about the oil pan? And
You could
front
probably
diff
just do an
and stuff like that?
R32 and put a 2J in it with a 400 and adapt all that stuff because they put 400s in the R32s.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying.
the front
So
diff is the
front
trick
diff.
part- yeah,
the
the
front
trick
diff
part
is
is
what
like
I'm
in the
trying to
oil
figure
pan,
out,
right? Yeah.
Because it goes through. It's built into the oil pan on the
Yeah.
on the RB stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, shout out to everybody in Australia for really sticking with those RBs.
there's some LSs that
Seriously.
yeah. There's some LSs that came all-wheel drive, so I've seen that before because you can do like the Trailblazer SS
Yep.
and do the front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, whatever, oil pan, diff setup. I don't know how strong it is. I don't know if you can
All
go
right, cool.
sevens.
Let's make your car all-wheel drive and stick shift.
Yeah, here we go.
All right.
Lift it a little bit. That'll be a real Florida Camaro. Right
Let's go. Yeah, I can go mudding with it
We
too.
got it.
Yeah.
I
All-wheel
won't get stuck
drive,
in my yard trying to
stick
get
shift.
out of here.
You can run no prep, stick shift, all-wheel drive shootout.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, if I throw a dart now, I'm gonna miss the target because it's moving. Like if
So you wait for the target
That
to
is
settle.
hard. No, but the target's never going to stop. But like what we were talking about
I'm
earlier.
just too slow. I'm too behind the curveball. Like everybody's gonna have pro mods in the next year, and if I start on one
They're
now,
not
you
getting
guys
any
are already
cheaper, bud.
are gonna be bored, and you're all gonna be in nitro funny cars.
No,
That's the only thing I won't
let's
be
be
in.
very clear. Yeah, let's be very clear. For me, the road ends at a pro mod. That's and I'm sure there are other people that feel that way, but they're the same way that people that feel like Top Fuel's like top of the line, the coolest part of for me, making it to the NFL or the NBA is pro mod. That's where I stop. So
That's
come join
the
us.
end, is pro mod. I
Not
always
the
wanted to
end.
drive
That's
a-
the beginning
I
of
always
my
wanted
end.
to drive a pro stock car.
Those are awesome, but for me, pro
When I
mod's
was a
like
kid- when I was a
pro
kid
mod
racing
is the
juniors
holy
and
grail
stuff
of
like
drag
that.
racing. It's the coolest thing. It's the most competitive. It's my favorite.
You're really underestimating how addicted, you might be to the progression. Like,
Oh, no.
I
I'm
know
not.
Garrett
No.
well enough to
No,
know
no,
that
no.
he's addicted
No.
to progression
No.
in drag racing as well.
I don't want to do anything other. The pro mod is it. That is the coolest thing. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've talked to people who've driven both. They say pro mod's harder to drive than like Top Fuel.
Yeah.
I can
And that
see
shit, I don't know. It's just dude. Pro mod is me, man. Those an actual thing that looks like a car with doors.
Looks like a car.
Yeah.
Come on, they don't look like cars.
They
They
look-
look like they look like limousines.
It's
This guy.
what the Camaro is to Pro Mods is a Fox body to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Every guy out there has a 69 Camaro. Sorry, man.
No, you're good.
When's your car gonna be like? When's it gonna hit the track? When are we gonna see it?
So it's getting the turbo kit fabbed on it this week. Shout out to RJ Race Cars. So like I didn't build a Pro Mod a couple years ago because of all the horror stories I've always heard of chassis shops and like even my own bad experience with chassis shops.
Yeah.
So Mark Mickey, I told him I wanted to do one, and he's like, "Man, we'll do it. I'll get you. I'll get you hooked up with the right people." And long story short, he hooked me up with RJ, and he's helped the entire way. And those guys run the best operation I've ever dealt with. Like if they tell you, they say like on this day the car's gonna be off the table. On this day the car's gonna have a body. On this day it's gonna get the turbo kit. On this day it's going to paint, and on this day you'll have it. That shit's pretty solid.
Yeah.
So when we get the car's getting the turbo kit now, from then it goes to paint. So it should be at paint probably realistically in like 2 weeks. Paint is probably going to take 6 weeks because the guy said he's very busy, but 4 to 6 weeks.
I could spray that thing. Come on.
Nah,
Bring it
it's
down.
just like, this is next level. So probably like 6 weeks. And then the car will come to us ready to go aside from plumbing and wiring. And it'll probably go to RK Racecraft. That's who like turnkey, they call it turnkey. That's who did the turnkey on Stevie Fast Car. So they'll do all the plumbing and all the wiring and like install the electronics.
I'd love to.
And then from there, we're going to the track. So I'm not gonna like rush it. I want to have all my stuff dialed in. So I want to have my spare parts. I want to be comfortable in the car. I want to have my seat time. I want to have my stuff on point. I hope to be testing around U.S. Street Nationals. Small chance I could be convinced to run like World Series of Pro Mod. But again, I want to make sure I have everything, all my ducks in a row. But next year, or not even next year, well, yeah, next year. So next season, Snowbirds, US Street, Yellow Bullet, World Series of Pro Mod. They're doing those badass big money races at the Flying H track, the new track in Kansas City.
Oh, so that gives me some time.
So I want to go
back into the program.
No, you're out.
That was going to be my next question is like, how do you run this operation? Because like, you're not a Pro Mod team.
No, but we have
You're
guys
a great team. You got to.
Yeah, we have
the best
guys. We
but,
have
like-
guys that love drag racing and that are willing to learn, and that's
Every
it.
guy that's a Pro Mod guy
Wasn't a Pro Mod
wasn't
guy,
a
yeah.
Pro Mod guy before he started doing
sure.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, I
sense.
got some dudes. I mean, so like, you know, my right hand man on this deal is gonna be my boy Troy Perez Jr., and he's got a lot of drag racing experience,
Yeah.
and
Probably more than most his age.
probably has more drag racing experience than the three of us combined. And he's
Yeah.
the same age,
Yeah.
and you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who would outwork him. And if I'm not driving, he'll drive, and when I am driving, he'll be, you know, making sure that everything's on point.
I like Troy because I get the feeling even if he doesn't know what he's doing,
He'll
he
figure
will
it out.
convince you that he has the full
figure it out.
grasp on.
But he
does know what he's doing,
and he
of
will
course.
figure it out though. Like he's not, he really will figure it
Yeah.
out. So I guess as of now, Troy's kind of going to be like my crew chief and backup driver.
Yeah. And he was working on what's his name?
Yeah, he
From
helped.
this
He
year.
helped Manny Bajinga with his
Yeah.
car, and he's helped a bunch of people. And like again, he has the experience, he has the passion.
He drives. He's driven both Supras a bunch.
Yeah, he drives a Supra, and he's good. But I mean, the other good part of it is that I have the relationships to, you know, I can call the right people and I can get a lot of help. I've made friends with everybody. I've been good to everybody. You know, I picked the right, in my opinion, the right people to buy parts from and to be a part of the program. Like, it's pretty proven stuff. I mean, there's a lot of options, but if you go to a Pro Mod race, half the ladder, if not more, is all Proline engines. More than half the ladder is all M&M transmissions. Probably 80% of the ladder is fuel tech. So like those
Very
are
few are turbo though.
yes.
So that was a curveball.
So for me, that was a very easy decision to make. I love turbo. I love anything with a turbocharger. And to me, it was the evil that I know. Like I know enough about turbos that I can be dangerous and maybe get myself in trouble. But also the driving experience, you know, I've bumped in and let go of a button before, right? So like It's easy. It's well, not that it's easy. It's the easiest path for me, and it's the thing I think I'll enjoy most. My car is built in a way that if I wanted to, I could pretty easily convert it to be a blower car. I couldn't do much more than blower or turbo.
Yeah.
But if I wanted
would be what
to.
you wanted. I mean, it's hard to not want to look at a screw blower.
Dude, screw blowers are the scariest thing in the world to me.
But that's what makes them so cool.
Dude, if I don't know, I want to sit, Stevie or somebody, let me sit in your car and just put it on the trans brake. I feel like when those guys whack the throttle, like their life flashes before their eyes. Those cars are like on the starting line, those cars are scary as hell. Screw blower is like intimidating to me. That's the only power adder I've never driven. And those things are just nasty.
I will tell you personally, it's going to be really hard if you line up with that shadow to not root for that shadow because, man, that thing...
Do what you got to do. You won't hurt my feelings.
As far as driver, you're my boy.
Listen, Shadow. I'm a huge fan of the Shadow.
It's hard not to be.
I was a big fan of the previous Shadow and the Shadow before that.
And then seeing it switch from small tire to big tire.
I'm gonna tell you something.
Something special.
I guess I don't show the competitive side of me as much as like the promoter side of me and all that. But you know me.
I've seen it.
I'm very competitive. That is why when I say I'm not going to rush, it's because of that.
Yeah.
Because I won't forgive myself if I like come out too soon and like I'm just not ready, or my team's not ready, or my car's not ready, or me as a driver isn't ready, and I lose a race that I felt I should have won. When you see me in eliminations, whoever's next to me is dead meat. Mm-hmm. Like that's just how it's got to be.
I get that. I guess my main concern is Malik going to be on the team somehow.
Yeah, of course.
Will he be involved? Because that's what brings me to the race.
Yeah, of course.
Someone has to be there to do what he does.
Of course.
Whatever that
is. He's in charge of team spirit.
Yeah. The charisma.
Exactly.
Yeah, the same attitude is what happens on the starting line.
Yeah, that's the energy that we roll up there with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm getting excited right now.
Nobody's getting burnt down. Well, I mean, besides maybe the other guy.
Well, he's the only he's one of the few pro mods that can be really burned down.
He can.
Because he has to bump in.
I can.
Yep.
And I'll tell you right now, you will never hear me crying about somebody burning me down. If I decide to go up in there first, then that's on me, and I'll live with what happens. I'll live with whatever happens after that. I'll sooner turn my car off and back the thing off the goddamn line before I cry on the internet that somebody burned me down.
Now, when Garrett basically could have built a pro mod, where
Garrett made a mistake. Garrett made a mistake. So it's funny.
That's kind of how I was like. I don't think he made a mistake, but I was like, man, like there's so much pro mod racing.
Yeah. So the thing for me is, if I could have, and I probably could have, and I probably should have, I would have tried to convince Garrett to build a pro mod because there's so much more opportunity to run pro mod than there is like Pro 275, which is kind of what that car is built for. But also, Garrett already goes to so many of those types of races. I would like to see Garrett go to races that he doesn't already go to. Does that make sense? Like I would like to see Garrett, participating in the Snowbirds and U.S. Nationals.
Yeah,
and World
but that
Series
new car doesn't fit like TX2K.
It doesn't.
FL2k.
It's a Pro 275.
It doesn't
car.
really fit World.
To my knowledge,
but it should be going to all those same races, just not racing in the pro mod class, right? Because all those races have Pro 275.
Yeah, almost all of them.
I mean, I think I look at it a little bit differently because some of those. You'll have 32 cars within a tenth of a second. You might not have a full field in pro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
or LDR or something like that.
I would have liked to see him racing pro mod. I also hope and think that my car is built in a way that he could fit in it. And if he can and he's willing, we'll throw him in there for a race. Absolutely. But it would just, for me, being a fan of pro mod, it would be really cool to see Garrett in pro mod. And like the thing is that like I hope he doesn't hear this. Don't tell him this, but like he's a really good driver.
Yeah.
I hate telling him that. But he's a really good driver. If you put him in the right car, he could go to one of these events and win, like, and be competitive. Like, it's just what it is. Mm-hmm. So I would love to see that. But funny story is, I was actually going to build a Pro 275 car, not a Pro mod.
And you have one.
Huh?
You have one. It just has a 6-cylinder.
Yeah, it's just the wrong motor.
We're not gonna go down this road.
It's true though.
We're not gonna go down
What
this
if you
road.
build the motor, like you could swap motors from pro mod to...
Let me finish what I'm talking about. Don't let him do this.
It's 1900.
Don't let him do this.
Yeah,
what? Oh my God, this guy, you're the worst. You're making excuses already because you know I'm
rolled him
gonna
out of
whoop you.
TX2K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add the weight. We're going to TX2K.
Bud.
Let me finish what I was saying. I was going to build a Pro 275 car, and when I saw that it was essentially the same thing, money wise, and commitment and parts. Like it's all the same stuff. It's just a different chassis and different class. I decided to build a Pro Mod. I only started talking about my car not that long ago, but me and Garrett actually I think we were like 2 weeks apart. I think my Pro Mod got started like 2 weeks before they started on the Pro 275 car, and they'll be done kind of around the same time.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, so it'll be cool. I'm really excited to see him at those events and race, and hopefully racing Pro 275, because I don't know if he's committed to like a class yet.
I don't think he's ever built a car with the class in mind.
But I mean, in this case, he kind of has no choice.
You would think.
Yeah.
It would be best case scenario to build a car knowing, because I got a bunch of shit when I said it didn't fit any of the FL2k classes. It doesn't really fit many classes. People are like, it can race all these things. I got, emails.
It can't. No, it
emails.
Can't. But it doesn't belong either. That car would go like 570s or 60s. You can't have a guy going 570 in Extreme 28s and everybody else going 620.
Yeah, doesn't make sense.
Nobody's going to come.
Yeah.
The class will die.
There's simple
It'll literally
rules.
be the end of the class.
I don't know, but I would assume he's building it so, he can go and race at those other events too.
No, yeah, no, I think in the beginning there may have been some confusion. They thought they were going to just roll that thing into FL2k. Ain't happening.
I think that's an accurate
You can be
thought.
my boy all you want, but it ain't happening. Like, and you know that. Like, I'm listen. At the end of the day,
if it fit the rules, how many other cars would fit the rules then?
Well,
and that's the whole point.
And
with
so
the
here's the
class.
thing: is that it has always been a topic of discussion. Is that how are we going to keep Pro 275 cars out of Extreme 28s? How do we differentiate? How do we do that? And he just happened to build one at the wrong time because we figured out how to.
But Cameron knows. Cameron had to know what he's built. Like
but Cameron doesn't look at the rules. I mean,
a
a guy comes in the shop and says, "Hey, build me this." You build it for him.
I get it. I mean, and I'm not hating on Garrett at all. I just, I think a little differently. I think more class and then work backwards.
No, for sure. But what he does is different than what we do.
Yeah, and not even what I do, but just what most racers.
Yeah.
Because
That's what I was saying.
What he's doing is different.
Yeah, Garrett is building that car for himself and his followers.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. Like, he's going to create content. His followers are enjoying watching him build that car and the process of him building that car.
Since it's going to be in a class in one of those other races, I think it gives him another platform to get,
for sure. And how cool would it be
with the same fans as these pro mod guys and stuff like that?
And how cool would it be to go to the Snowbirds or US Street Nationals and see Garrett and buy Garrett's T-shirt, or go to Ducks Race in South Georgia and Garrett's there. You know what I mean? Like, that's cool.
I was going to say, you think he's going to...
He should.
8-day long...
I hope he does, because that's what the sport needs. We need more.
I agree.
It's another platform for him and another way to get more people involved in other aspects of the racing.
If Garrett has whatever it is, let's say it's more than this. Let's say he has 1 million followers. If 100,000 of them have no idea what radio racing is, they will now. You know what I mean? Which I don't know what those numbers are, but I'm sure a lot of them don't follow him and know what radio racing is. A lot of them follow him and for his guys and the team and what they do and all the shenanigans. But if he can put more eyes on drag racing, I'm all for it.
That's always my worry is those races are very grueling compared to an FL2k.
They are.
They are like a duck race is
they're grueling compared to anything.
Racing. I was thinking about putting together a no prep car because it's just a Saturday. You just go out and race the car again.
Actually, Garrett's car could very easily be converted to run no prep.
No prep?
Very easily.
Or no time?
No prep.
Okay.
Like the
no
prep
time
Kings,
it could run.
Yeah, it can run no time.
But nobody wants to watch no time. No one in the world, on YouTube wants to watch no time.
No. But everybody on the starting line wants to watch no time.
Yeah, those couple hundred people on the starting line.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
We were about to fly out after this.
We almost ditched you and went to Texas to go to Big Jake's race.
Yeah, because you guys are diehard racers, but you're semi-casual fan.
No, for sure.
If the boards just show dashes,
100%,
they're checked out.
I agree with you.
Sure. But if you got a couple.
But no prep Kings. If you were to go to Cameron Johnson and say, build me a car for no prep Kings, they would build you Garrett's Camaro. The only difference would be, and they may have done the rear end that you can run either way, but it's just the tires and the rear end. Yeah. That's it. And the shocks, I
know. And I like no time. I like no prep stuff.
I wish if no prep Kings turned the boards on, I think people would be fired up.
Yeah.
Because I don't think people realize how fast those cars go, and it would bring a whole new element to racing. Yeah, and at this point, the people that know, and a lot more people know than before. I think it would be so cool. And like
I think
seeing
it
the
could be a
wind
double-edged-
light,
I think it could be a
and
double-edged
also
sword for them though.
No, I think seeing the
Because then
wind
it's
light.
like, oh, you guys can't even hang with the real pro mod guys.
But I
And
think
then
seeing a wind light come on and leave it instant green, but seeing a wind light come on for a guy who went like, let's just say 385, and the guy he racing went 370, and that probably happens more often than not because it's a instant green. That's cool.
Yeah.
And that's actual drag racing.
But they kind of stopped showing No Prep Kings, so nobody really like
Yeah. So
like
I've
nobody
heard
outside of people in the stands really know what's going on.
Yeah, I guess
I've
that's
heard
true.
a couple things. I've heard Dana White bought it.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was what the rumor
There's
was supposed
rumors,
to be.
I don't
but it's
know.
all-
Well, we were just talking about this last night, actually. A lot of Street Outlaw stuff just disappeared. Not like, hey, this is going to be our last season.
But
Hey,
if you
this-
go
this-
to one of their events, the stands are absolutely packed. So
I've seen-
it's a
but I've
TV.
seen both sides.
It's not on TV. That's the only thing. It's a TV deal away from being right back to what it was.
Yeah.
Wow, where has it been recently?
I'm saying it's not on TV. It hasn't been on TV for a year. But
Well, they didn't-
previous years when
yeah.
it was on TV, it was the most talked about thing in drag
Season
racing.
6 never aired.
Yeah.
And
It was filmed,
they're
but
in
never
season
aired?
7, yeah. It's
Really?
never aired. It's just in a vault somewhere sitting there.
Oh, shit.
I think someone died in one of the Street
Yeah,
Outlaws, and I
yeah.
think that's been their biggest holdup.
Yeah, and I mean, to my knowledge, they just don't have a TV deal,
Yeah.
like at all.
Discovery was just like, yeah, we're not interested anymore.
No, I don't think it's that. I think that the participation was good and the viewership was good. I think there's something like with Discovery got bought out. I'm not entirely sure. Just again, these are all rumors. I hate
Yeah.
talking about shit I don't
Discovery
Yeah,
probably did. I
know.
mean,
I
was
hate
like-
talking about shit I don't know.
I think Discovery did get bought out. That's not.
And
even
I
a
think the
rumor.
people that bought it out are like overextended and just like only focusing on like high line, like things that are gonna like
They
get
don't
them
want-
back to where they can be.
No,
And they had to cut. It's
They don't want to spend money.
Well, and when people buy a company, what do? They trim the fat,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
unfortunately, they were the
And
fat.
just like we said before, like drag racing, that's a thing of the past.
They trim the fat. But I think No Prep Kings is really cool, and the amount of people that it's made watch drag racing and made aware of drag racing is really cool.
Yep.
And I don't think it's going anywhere. Like I said, I mean, you go to one of their events, the stands are packed.
Yep.
They
But
sell
it's-
out every
but
event
it
they
is-
do.
It's goes back to what we were talking about earlier about exposure and doing our part to do the dude. You know, I say, people, oh, you have a race car, and I'm like, yeah. You ever seen Street Outlaws? Yeah, I watch all the time.
Yeah.
Tan GTR with Kimbo Slice on the back window. No way, you know.
Yeah.
But like, just because it was on TV, people see it. But as far as I know, NHRA is still on TV every Sunday.
Let me ask you another question. When you line up with that Supra at FL2k and we beat the brakes off you, can you pull Kimbo off the back window? Can we negotiate that? Can we lock
Definitely
that in?
never.
I don't think you're going to deserve it. Yeah, put me
Never.
back there.
Would you want to be on it though if you beat it?
Yeah, so everybody knows it's my son, Mac.
Yeah.
It'll never happen.
I mean, it would be pretty
non-negotiable.
disrespectful to lose for Kimbo. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
you're
I
making
lose all the time.
You're making Kimbo look crazy out here.
yeah,
But
the
it'll
guy
be-
never lost.
It'll be cool. We'll have multiple cars, import cars, trying to go for that record. So Larry's got the record, quickest import on a radial. We had it for like a week. Then Larry got it. It was White Rice before that. I'm sure they're going for it with the taco truck.
Yeah.
This kid's got dreams of VR38 getting that record.
The VR38 is the least of the worries.
Yeah. Well, he's at 1,900
makes-
pounds. I mean,
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
If my car weighs 1,900 pounds, I'll give it to you. It does.
2,300 with a driver.
It's not that
gonna be
either.
1850
It's
on
heavier than that.
Not anymore.
Dude, that car is not that light.
Put it
Stop
on the
making
scales.
excuses.
It's not an excuse. I never said, oh,
So
you're
bring
gonna
a
beat me
raggedy
because of
ass
this.
VR38 at the same weight, and we'll beat the shit out of it too.
That would never happen, and you know that.
I saw them have
You
to
just know that I'm
pull
not
a
gonna
wheel
also
off and
bring it
somebody
at the same
lifted it
time.
up.
Yeah,
to
it was.
pull
They had the same guys that
You
lift
just
up the
made that up?
Civic and
Did
drag
you
it
just make
around.
that up, Cooper?
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be on my team, and you made that up to give him
I
ammunition.
saw it happen. I
You
watched
didn't
it.
see
I watched
happen.
Andrew
You
just
made
lift
it
it up, and Denny
you made
pulled
it up.
Yeah.
You guys are in cahoots. Whatever.
They just leaned it on its side.
I have
Took
to
one.
pee. In racing, it's hard to find people in the car industry that are trustworthy. You
Yeah.
guys probably know that more than anyone. That even you see things come across the internet and you're like, man, I thought that person was as trustworthy as can be, and then you're like, your whole like kind of mindset gets shattered a little bit.
Yeah, I'm watching a guy
It's-
just completely roast the shop right now. I don't know if you follow him or if you did, you know what I'm talking about. There's a guy with a all-wheel drive Civic that left the shop that he was at, and he is just killing them on the internet right now.
But that's the other thing too, right? you get people like that, and that's all people see is the stuff that's on the internet.
Yeah.
You know, like...
Yeah, and there's 3 sides to every story. It's
Yeah,
hard. But I mean, being a shop owner, there are more shops out there doing dirt work than there are doing good work.
Sure.
There are people
but there's also people that you did good work for, that you did good by, that will
100%.
use the internet against you
100%.
and say, like, oh, well, I'll put this on the internet.
And there's also, so usually in my experience, that same person that will threaten to put something on the internet, or people that use the internet to try to go at shops that are, didn't necessarily do anything wrong to them, those are people that have zero accountability. Those are people that, like, you build them a car, it blows a motor, and the reality is they could only afford the first build. They can't afford the rebuild, and they can't afford the maintenance, and they can't afford the upkeep. And they make that your problem. And they expect you to do something about it, and when you can't, they threaten you and go on the internet and talk about it.
Or because of the internet in the beginning, they have a false expectation of what they're getting.
But there's very little accountability from the people who are having cars built and the people that are racing cars. And there's also very few shops that are educating people and telling them, like, hey, yeah, we could build you this, but really we should build you 2 engines and 2 transmissions because you want to do this and this and this, and it's going to break, and we should have them in rotation. Like, nobody's having that conversation out of fear for losing the sale. And because they know that the guy down the street is not going to tell them that, he's going to build them a car and then tell them, hey, let's build a spare engine and transmission. And the customer's like, what? What are you talking about? I just paid you a couple $100,000 to build me my car. Yeah, but you need a spare engine and transmission.
Well, you have to be like an educator at the same time, which, I've talked to Alpha about this a lot because Alpha has to educate people constantly.
100%. And it's the biggest part of our jobs, not just as a tuner, but when we sell parts. Like, we lose sales sometimes because we tell people that we don't feel that they need it, or that we feel that they could spend their money better elsewhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's very few places that are willing to do that. But it's gotten pretty toxic. There's zero accountability. Usually when there's situations like this, there's zero accountability on one end or the other, whether it's the customer or the shop, and somewhere in between, expectations aren't met, and it's somebody's fault, but it's not really somebody's fault. And, like, honestly, a lot of the times, it doesn't need to be somebody's fault. No. Like, I've seen people buy a brand new Pro Mod and go out there and do a burnout and chuck a rod out of it. You think that they're going on the internet and like, no, they're like, shit, my 6,000 horsepower Pro Mod broke a rod. All right, I gotta go fix it.
But there's going to be 2 different people. There's going to be people that are like, damn, that sucks. There's going to be people that are crying that this is bullshit and it's brand new and who's going to pay for this?
There's also
and this, that, the other.
This is probably the biggest issue, and I'm sure you're going to agree with me on this. There's this very often an expectation that the amount of money you spend directly correlates to the result. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
You can spend $1 zillion and your car will break, and your car may struggle, your car may have issues, it might have a misfire, it might not leave the starting line. It doesn't matter. You can spend $100,000, you can spend $1 million. You're still susceptible to all the same issues.
It's just like,
but they think it correlates direct. Oh yeah, I spent $1 million, so no, I'm good.
100%.
That's it. Yeah,
I
my
bought all
car's
the
gonna
best.
be perfect.
I bought all the best.
I bought
stuff,
the best of the best.
Which,
and, yeah.
I've seen it, unfortunately, for those guys work out in the opposite, where you have a guy that, for lack of better words, is a fucking piece of shit, and he doesn't want to spend the money, and he wants to spit and bubble gum the stuff or use the stuff that he already had, and that guy can kick the shit out of his car for 1.5 years straight, and it never even leaks a drop of oil. And then you have the guy that spends the money on the best stuff, and the car, might not make it the first day at the track, and something breaks, and it's luck of the draw. But that's what people don't understand about the business, and this is, like we said a little bit off camera before, like, it's the worst industry to be in because it's mainly because there are so many variables. Like, when you're in construction, sure, there's 1 million variables, but at the end of the day, you get the job done, you get X amount, you make X amount. We can build 3 identical cars. Actually, let's bring it down to 2 identical cars. We built 2 identical cars last year, both 1300Xs, both the same motors, same stock intake manifolds, 6-injector, Motec, the same parts on both cars.
Different results.
One left in May and one left in July. Because there was the same parts, the same guy put them together. And this is what customers cannot fathom because it doesn't even make sense.
No.
It doesn't make sense most of the time to us either. it ended up being the crossover tube on the factory intake manifold had an issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
The intake manifold that came on the car when they brought it to us.
Yeah.
But how do you charge that customer for 2 months worth of your time?
Yeah.
Putting it on and off the dyno, changing the injectors, changing this, that, the other, because it had a fueling difference bank to bank, and we're smashing our heads against the wall because again, the same exact car just drove out the door.
Yeah.
But people just don't understand that, and then they want to take it on you. A lot of guys. What I don't know if this happens to you, but my customers, a lot of people are business owners and stuff like that. They love to compare your business to their business.
Yeah.
Well, in my business, if I'm a plumber and I install something and I install a pipe and it breaks, I have to fix it. And I'm like, sure, but your pipe was rated to hold 100 PSI and you had it holding 50 PSI. We're taking something that was designed to make 450 horsepower and making it make 2,000. So take your crane that you dropped off at the job site that's supposed to lift 500 pounds and make it lift 2,000 pounds every day. And let me know if you're going to warranty it for the customer every single time something's wrong.
This isn't the Nissan warranty. This isn't the Audi warranty. This is...
Dude, it's just like,
you don't get that
well,
same...
you chose to use that crank and it broke. Because the VRs break cranks. They break them on the last counterweight almost every time. On a 2,000 horsepower car, you can probably get a season. If you're lucky, you get a season out of that crank.
But this is stuff that nobody talks about.
No. I spent the money for the best stuff. You chose to use that crank. I don't want to pay for it.
Doesn't matter what crank I get. It's gonna break.
Again, nobody understands the profit margin in this stuff either. Like Vic was talking about it last night, like in sales and stuff like that, you have to understand. We get the stuff for, let's say 20%, right?
Yeah.
But there's some asshole selling it.
Yeah, we have to sell it to you for 10%
selling it online for 10%.
Yeah.
So you have to sell it for that 10%.
And then we got to take a credit card. And then we got to pay the guy that sold it to you.
The margins are so slim. Everybody thinks because in their mind they spent $100,000 or $200,000 that we made $199,000.
Yes, 100%. I spent $200,000 with you on this car.
Yep.
No, you spent $200,000 with a lot of people and 10 with me.
Yeah. So, but realistically, right, on that $200,000, you add in labor, stuff like that, you probably made 50. Let's call it 50 on the high side.
That's very high, yeah.
Let's call it 50 on the high side. If it was very labor intensive, all that stuff. Now the car sat at your shop for 5 months, so now you're at $10,000 a month. You can make $10,000 putting turbos on a car, and never see it ever again. So now you have this car that you're married to for the rest of your life, that makes 2,000 horsepower. That the guy wants to have air conditioning and wants to drive it like a Prius.
Yeah.
Dude, one of my business partners he made us build him a fuel cell that's 35 gallons in the trunk of his car. It was the biggest cell that we could fit in the hole for the trunk. So he didn't have to carry fuel with him. 4.3 liter billet block will drive it 350 miles in a day and wonders why his crankshaft breaks every year. And I'm like, dude, you drive the thing like a Camry.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? But the
on
internet...
top of beating the crap out of it all the time.
And it makes 2,000 horsepower, but the internet tells you that a 2,000 horsepower car is a street car still.
Well, also, people don't talk about their failures enough at all.
But so there's the flip side. There is the honest business owner that does everything right that has failures. And then there is the shady business owner that does everything wrong and has failures. But to the uneducated consumer, those almost look the same.
The same. That's what I was about to say. Sure, but you get treated the same.
Yeah.
You get treated like you're screwing them over.
Fella out in California that built all those horrible R8s and...
yeah. But like...
they were burning down and stuff, People were coming at him, and then it seemed like everybody came out of the woodworks to be like, yeah, they're pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
there's more of that than there is good.
Yeah.
There is definitely more bad than there is good, but even when you do good, you get treated like you're doing bad. Like you're taking advantage.
By certain people, but also there's a responsibility, shop owners, and we're pretty good at it. Sometimes it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
We had a customer not that long ago, and we ended on good terms, whatever, but I felt like there was no result that we were going to have building this guy's car that he was going to be happy.
Yep.
So what did I do? I nipped it in the butt. I gave him his money back, and I said, hey, man, you know what? I don't think we're the shop for you. That's it. And we moved on.
Yep. I've had a customer like that where I told him, and every time, I want to go 2,860 to 130. Car goes 274. Why is this guy's car faster than mine? This, that. He spent less. And I'm like, dude, there's not. You told me you wanted to run a 7. You went 770s. You told me you wanted to run to this 6130. You went a 10th faster. Like, no matter what we accomplished, you were never happy with it.
That little draggy number.
But like I said before, like, just while we're still like near the topic of like the profit margins and stuff like that. So that guy is looking at you and saying, well, I paid for this and it only lasted this long and the crank broke. Because I've had a crank that lasted me 3 or 4 seasons of 7-second passes. And I've had them that have lasted me 6 months and they snap in half. And, you have that guy that now wants you to replace his crank for free. So you made on that $200,000, you made your, let's say your 40 grand, which again, we both know is a big stretch. But now you got to buy the guy a $5,500 crank. You got to eat the labor to take the motor out. You got to pay another $5,000 in machining because you basically have to refresh the entire engine if it didn't destroy it.
Gaskets, fluids,
a rod, bearings. You got to pay the machine shop. Yep, your fire rings again because you're not going to reuse them. So, you've got tens of thousands. So now he wants you to lose. If you're talking about just the engine in general, he wants you to now come out of pocket and pay him to fix his motor.
And if not, he's going to go on the internet.
Yeah, and if you don't do it, you're going to go on the internet. Dude,
and he's going to be mad regardless because the car's down for a couple months.
Yep, and it's on your dime and stuff like that, but you should still be making it number one priority to lose money.
Takes up the lift.
The GTR and Audis and stuff is a lot worse, though, because most of those people are all competing with the people on the internet. So, like, we're pretty fortunate because most of the cars we do are street car Supras, and there's not, like, so many benchmarks and there's not so much competition. These people are building cars for their own personal use, for their own personal enjoyment. They're not comparing themselves to Jack
this
and
guy
Jill.
at this shop who, like you just said, doesn't talk about, you said some situation got brought up, then a bunch of people came out of the woodwork. So these people only see, like he said, nobody talks about their failures.
So we try to avoid that. When we do get customers that want a drag car, it's not that we won't do it, but it's hard for us to nail that customer because we're going to tell them,
hey, this
we're going to talk them out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to be so honest with them that if they choose to do it at the end of that, it's almost just like they're just asking for trouble.
Well, it's a bit of a lonely, painful road to go down as building not being like you have to be very self-sufficient to have a drag car. You can't be fully reliant on the shop.
You can be, but you have to pay for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's another thing is that you have to have these conversations in the beginning.
Because they need constant oil changes,
you have to have the conversation like, what are you capable of and what are you okay with paying for? Because, I can build you a 6-second Supra, no problem. Are you going to pay for 2 mechanics to go with you for a week to TX2K? Are you going to pay for a tuner to be with you at TX2K? Are you going to pay for the refresh after 4 events? Are you going to be okay when your motor blows? Like, you have to have those conversations, and if you don't, you're just asking for trouble.
No, and the testing before the event, don't just show up at this event untested and hope for the best.
You have to prepare people for all of those things.
I told my partner that has the car that we're trying to bring to Garrett's thing, prepare to spend $25,000 each person to go test and race at FL2k.
Yeah.
Because to get a car, especially a new setup, to get it dialed in, you need to spend 3 days, if not more, at the track. When we first came out with the 4-link, we spent a week at Bradenton.
Yeah.
We spent Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday testing, serviced the car on Thursday, raced at a street car takeover on Friday and Saturday, and then went home. And
that's expensive.
That's expensive, but I'm doing it myself.
Yeah.
Now you got to try to convince someone
and also
to pay for it.
People don't understand that. A lot of people think that, I paid you $200,000 to build the car. That's not included. No, it's not included. What do you mean? It's not you just own me for life because you paid? No, I spent $180,000 in parts. I built you a car, and now you have to keep spending money.
Because
honestly, I don't even like talking about it because it makes me not even want to do this shit anymore.
These people think that they're helping your business by bringing their car to the event and stuff. This isn't fucking 2012 anymore.
I've had people.
There's already fast GTRs out there and stuff like that. You're not helping my business by bringing the car out there. If you want me to come out there for free, you're hurting my business.
Yeah. And when I tell people when they say I'm going to be out there racing, I'll put a sticker on the car. Guy, hate to break it to you, but if we really wanted that exposure, or we really wanted to do that, we would just do it ourselves. It's cheaper for me to build my own car and decide when I want to race it and when I don't want to race it, and decide when I want to fix it and when I don't want to fix it, than it is for me to give you a bunch of free shit and give you a bunch of free time to put my name out. I'll just do it myself. And at least that way too, I'll enjoy it a little bit, you know?
Yeah, you get to do the driving yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was talking to friends of mine the other day about business stuff, and I said, the best thing that I do when it comes to these situations is whenever I get upset or worked up about anything, before I react, I always put myself in another person's shoes. So like if Cooper's upset because his engine blew, before I tell Cooper, like, hey man, your engine's gonna blow again. Like, it's just what it is. I put myself in Cooper's shoes and I say, you know what? Maybe Cooper didn't have a lot of runs on that motor, or, you know, like maybe it really shouldn't have blown as soon as it did. I go through that thought process before I answer. And a lot of people don't do that. Oh, my car broke. Whose fault is it? Oh, it's that guy's fault. Like, dude,
it's the very
your car
stoic
broke,
way to think about it.
Your car just broke, man.
No, and we're on a tangent right now, but there is very few things as a shop owner that does make you feel as good as a customer's car, a customer that did spend the money to do it right and is a good guy. Because there's a lot of good guys out there too. You know, there's actually the bad guys are typically an outlier, and you know a lot of guys, because a lot of guys that are doing this shit, they're into it just like us.
Yeah, and what makes us the happiest as a shop owner is when there's good results.
When they do have success. Yeah, and that's what I was saying.
Yeah. Like when I get the text messages, or you know, we put it in our group chats all the time. We get a text from a customer, man, car exceeds my expectations. I'm so happy. You know, like the car drives great. It's this fast, whatever. Like that's what we want. That makes us happy.
Because those couple people will ruin it for 100. One guy will ruin it for 100 guys. Like there's some people that are such a pain that it makes you be like, why do I do this anymore? Like, why do I do this every day? Because there's just that one guy that ruins it. But at the end of the day, there's nothing better than standing on the starting line and watching your customer. I've been in the burnout box behind my own customers and watching them set a personal best or set a record or do exactly what they're trying to do or win a race. I get just as much. When I go back and watch my own videos, I get more excitement from my guys on the starting line than the race at all.
Yeah.
Because those guys are the guys that put the blood, sweat, and tears and like really put the time into it. And just like you are, you're the one that had to deal with that guy for 6 months to get him where he's at. Yeah. And to talk him off the ledge of like, fuck this, I'm not doing this shit anymore.
Yeah, like
you know, whatever.
And like, you know, like when Cooper went 7s, I was happy as a pig in shit. You know, you would have thought that I went 5s. You know what I mean? Like I was really happy. But the experience of teaching him all the things that we could teach him and helping him with all the things that we could help him with and just guiding him along the way and then seeing it pay off, that was great. You know what I mean?
And it
wasn't,
awesome.
I mean, in your case, it sucks for an example because it was easier than it probably should have been.
Yeah, well, like the car didn't have any changes. Like the way that it rolled out of the shop was the way that it wasn't like, oh, he progressed. Yeah, I think he only wanted to go 8s and we did that like first pass or something. I was going to be happy with an 8-second car, but at the time, that was also, we're talking like 4 years ago when the car rolled out of the shop.
But you hit your goal like your first full pass, right?
Yeah, the first time it ran out the back.
That's what I was going to say before. Sometimes you go out, and the GTRs at this point, we've been doing it for so long, they're cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Put this setup in it, it's going to go and it's going to run this. 3 of them will, 1 of them won't. And the one of them that doesn't is the guy's going to be the worst guy that it could possibly happen to.
It's stupid not to do it cookie cutter too, because you'll have a customer show up and tell you what they want, and it's like, well, no, this is the way we get your 8-second
I was
results.
about to say before, I talk somebody out of 2,000 horsepower twice a month. Listen,
like,
bud.
Dude, you're going to love
1,300 is way better.
horsepower build way more than you're going to love a 2. We get the same thing with Supras. Hey, I want to make 1,500 horsepower. No, you don't. You think you do,
but
it sounds like you do, but I promise
and I'll just drive it on the
internet is telling you that you do, but
like, oh, no, I mean, I'm just going to drive. What are you going to do with the car? I'm just going to hang out and drive, go to a couple events and do a couple pulls on the highway.
Yeah, oversize the turbo. That'll be fun.
I'm going to drive my Supra once every 6 weeks with ethanol in the tank, and then I'm going to put it on map 10 and do a rip, and when my ID 2000 that's been sitting there with ethanol for 6 weeks not being used, isn't flowing as much as the rest, and I melt down one cylinder, who's paying for it? Yeah. So you have to also take that customer, judge them, and see.
We would make more money
if
we charged for the amount of time we spend telling people not to do things and telling people like and just educating people.
Well, I've noticed a little bit different. Maybe this is just noticing differently, but it seems that induction almost changed a little bit on what you guys are doing, because now the 2Js and the Supras are at this age where you guys are like almost resto modding them.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. It's really cool.
Where they're like becoming this like a resto mod, like the Sam's car, or like a Supra where it's like factory plus almost.
Because like what I was just saying. So the truth is we say no to more jobs than we say yes. So if we don't feel that we can, again, give you like the results that we want to and the results that you want, then we just won't do it. So what goes into that is like we vet the customer to see like what their expectations are, what their budget is, if the expectation is realistic for the budget, and then if we're the right fit for them or not, And again, we turn down more work than we take. But one of the biggest things is that we only want to work on, like we're clean slate. So, my brother took the car apart with me and, he got busy and I want to bring you the car in peace. No. Oh, my car's built by this place and all I want you to do is change a turbo and put a clutch in it. Gonna pass. So we're controlling what we're doing, but we're also controlling the outcome.
Yeah.
So a car like Sam's is a perfect example. Sam was such an easy customer to work with, but Sam came and said, hey, I want a sleeper SC300 build street car that I can drive to the track and run 9s and just enjoy. And if I want to get in it and drive it to Texas to see my daughters, I could do that. Sam, this is what you need. Yeah, Sam, this is what you need.
Yeah,
this is what it's going to cost. No problem. And we did it. But he trusted us. He didn't say, oh, well, this guy said on the internet that I should run this turbo, and this guy said this.
Everybody with a Supra wants to run a 98 or 88.
I brought my own intercooler for you.
No, we don't install customer supplied parts. Like we just have learned from all of these bad experiences what to not do and what we can do to control the outcome. And like, if I'm gonna be put in a situation where you're not happy with the outcome of a build, I want it to be 100% on me.
Yeah.
More often than not, when there's a bad outcome or you're just not happy with the outcome, it wasn't up to me. I didn't get to choose the turbo. You bought a used clutch from this guy. You bought this from this guy. You read this on the internet. No. If we're going to be in that situation, I want to know that it is my fault or that like I could do this differently or I could somehow, come to a resolve and fix it. So, yeah, realistically, we have changed a lot of what we do. We're focusing
on the record here. My Supra is going to Victor, and I bought all my used parts from him, so he will be at fault if I'm not happy with the build.
That's fair. If you buy used parts from Victor, it is a little different. Like
I hate it here.
But like Sam's car is a great example. When you look at it, it was clearly built by somebody that knows Supras and 2Js. It's not a Supra, but it's close enough. Knows 2Js really well.
Poor man's Supra.
Eric's car that was just for sale that they were posting. Like you
and
look at that,
Eric,
we were talking about it today.
But Eric said, Vic, this is what I want.
Yeah.
How do we do it? And I did it, and he was so happy. And what's crazy is that the owner's previous or the previous owner is Eric, but the people who've owned it prior to him, every single one of them reached out to me like, dude, this thing is awesome. It drives so good. It pulls hard. It makes good power. Like it's perfect. And if we don't feel that we can do that, we just don't do it. Like Green Supra I sold it to my buddy Mitch from M Engineering. Happy as a pig in shit. But I built that car as if it were my own. I bought it, built it to sell it, and the car is perfect. You know what I mean? But it costs a lot of money. It took a lot of time. But the car is like you can get in that car, drive it anywhere, have a blast, and it's an enjoyable street car.
I guess it just to me it shows such a lane of like you guys know that platform so well. That, like if somebody brought an R32 GTR in there, it probably wouldn't come out quite the same. Like it would come out great, but it wouldn't like
no for sure.
Like you and Matt and those guys know 2Js so well, and
we know those setups, and we've done so much, and we've spent the money, we've dealt with the issues, we've dealt with the heartache, and that's why we're so like non-negotiable. Like we're like no. This is what you need.
Exactly. This is what catch can you're running.
This is it.
Because I had issues for 5 years to figure this out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like
your engine comes from FFRE.
Like that's it. You know what I mean? Like we just bypass all the drama and all the nonsense, and we're a one-stop shop if you let us be. But if you aren't willing for us to be the one-stop shop, then we're just not the shop for you.
Yeah.
And we're focusing a lot on the parts, a lot on the engine builds and shipping engines out and stuff like that. And then we're gonna take we have been and we're going to continue to take less and less cars in the shop unless it's like what we're talking about.
Yeah, like a dialed-in build where like the
so,
customer
like,
gets it and...
Yeah.
I'm going to send my car there, and right now it's bone stock, and I have an engine on the engine stand, and I know what I want, and he knows what he's doing, because even if I had my own shop do it, which is plenty capable, what we're going to do in 3 months, he'll do in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because it's just, like you said, back of his hand, like, okay, you need this, this, and this. I've already got all of it. Yeah. So we're ready to go. Instead of me having to scour the internet for a set of GTE valve covers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he knows that if I call him, if I pick up the phone and I'm like, hey, we shouldn't use this, we should use this, or hey, we should do this, or we should do that, he knows that I'm not just trying to sell him something. I'm telling him from experience. And I'm trying to save myself time. Like, I don't want to waste my own time.
Yeah, like when my eBay intake manifold explodes on the dyno.
Yeah.
I was actually about to say, then like even the aesthetic stuff, like some people put like intakes that are like, like a bolt together billet on like a car that just like, you pop the hood at a car show to look OEM plus, like, you don't even want that. Like even like honestly, I have a Plasma Man and it's awesome, but like what some people do to like a stock manifold even looks pretty great.
And honestly though, like we're probably still too flexible with what we allow people to like do and want and choose. Because some of it, just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, always comes back.
But as long as it's not going to affect like the outcome or the drivability or the power output or like the goals, then whatever will usually be pretty flexible. But like, man, like let's look at underground racing. Those guys have been around forever, and they have the absolute best business model in the entire aftermarket performance industry. You know how it works at underground? You buy a car, you call them,
this is how much it costs.
And you say, hey, I want to twin turbo my Lamborghini. They say, how much horsepower do you want? 2,000. This is the package you want. This is how much it costs. That's it.
Yep.
Not, no. This guy down the street said that I should do it with a Cyvex and I should do it with these. Absolutely not.
No, or, hey, this guy down the street is 100,000 cheaper. And they're like, bring it to them.
Yeah.
Please do.
It's the most dialed in, absolute.
It's the only shop.
It's the only shop that's making money
in the country that makes money.
But like that's how they do it. You can't call them and tell them, hey, I bought a car and it's got a sheepy turbo. They'll hang the phone up on you. They'll tell you to sell that car.
Or they'll say, bring it, and we're going to start from zero.
Yeah, we're going to rip the car completely apart. You can sell all that stuff. We're going to give it to you, and we're going to start from scratch.
We don't want any of it.
We're
We
not
don't want
taking
the
it on
turbos.
trade.
Yeah, like,
we're not selling it for you.
But look at the results.
100%.
Well, that's where it takes being not like as nice of a guy. And I've had long talks with like Jason Hefner.
Yeah.
Jason Hefner's a really nice guy. He'll fix your junk, and like he's probably one of the few guys that could fix your junk
and then get screwed on it, because then you'll be on the side of the road broken down, and you're gonna call this nice guy and curse him out and bash him on the internet because he tried to help you.
Listen,
and he could. You know what he could have done? He could have been an asshole and be like, abso-fucking-lutely not. Please don't call here again.
Because he's a nice guy. And
block your phone number. And like so. Obviously, we're talking about the bad, the bad and all that stuff, and like you said, there's always good with that. And so, like we said, Underground's the only shop in the country that's making money. I'm not saying no other shops make money, because somebody else is going to be like, my shop makes money, but put it this way, none of us are buying 2 jets, okay?
None of us are buying 2 jets.
That's true.
So
I've seen the jet he flies in.
We're making enough to have a race car, and
their track record speak for itself.
Yeah, that's it.
Those guys, their facility is amazing. Their personal cars are amazing.
I wish the beefs didn't happen in the beginning when everybody started to hop back into the V10 market, because for me, from a kid, I was like, damn. And then even seeing that Fast and the Furious movie a couple years ago, when they're like, that car has underground racing twin turbo kit on, I'm like, that's so awesome. Like as a kid, I was always like, underground racing is the bad. So like, when the beefs all started to happen with the different shops, like nobody was taking any food off their plate, because at the end of the day, here we are 3 years later, and we're back to full circle. If you don't want to deal with some of the bullshit, you go to the guys that have been doing it for 100 years.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody walked into my shop and said, hey, I want to build a 3,000 horsepower Lamborghini, I'm going to give him Kevin's number and say, talk to this guy.
Yeah.
Because I can't help you. Because could we build a 3,000 horsepower Lamborghini? Yeah. Probably. But would it have 10 times more problems than the guys that have done it 10 times already? 100%.
Yeah, and the path that you're going to have to take to get there, they've already done it so much that their path's going to be straight. Yours is going to be
100%.
It'd be like if somebody said
backwards a little bit.
But sometimes you'll do the opposite. I had the opposite stuff happen to me with the B58s, with the Supras. I'm like, you know what? I haven't built one of these for myself yet. Let me buy a long block from somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
18 months later, we got the long block that was supposed to be 6 weeks away.
wow.
You know? So there's...
Right on schedule.
Yeah, so there's plenty...
A little different from my RJ experience from earlier.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be like if you wanted to get a 2,500 horsepower Viper. There's not that many people you would instill the trust.
I'm calling Nthmoto.
100%.
It's not that long of a list of
100%.
people.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
And Nthmoto is the underground racing of that world.
Of Vipers.
There are other people who could do it.
They never got involved in the beef, though.
Yeah.
They just kept being the best.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
Aaron doesn't care about any of that.
They've been
just
doing
kept
it.
being
They've
the
been
best.
doing it the
They just
longest.
kept being the best behind the scenes. That's it.
And you'd be hard pressed to find anything bad about them, and the results speak for themselves. That's it.
Yeah, I know. And there's some shops that are just like that. It's like you go there.
Another
for
thing that I'm pretty proud of with induction is like our turnover rate. We don't hire a lot of people, so like
Denny's been there, what, 20 years?
Denny's been there since the day we opened.
Yeah.
So from that, there's other places you can go and get your 2J built, and you have in your head like, dude, these guys are the best. They did this in the 90s and the 2000s. Nobody that's going to work on your car even knew about that company back then. They don't know. They weren't involved in any of the R&D. They weren't racing with them. They didn't break stuff with them. They didn't tune back then. Like nothing. You know what I mean? And not to discredit them, they may be able to, but there's a disconnect between front office and the back of the shop. But in our case, there really isn't, because we've all learned all of it together. You know what I mean? When Denny comes in the shop and says, "Hey Matt, for this customer's car, we should do this or we should do that," the two of them will figure it out, and they will give you the best result based on experience.
Yeah.
You can't. Nothing trumps experience in this stuff. It's just what it is. Where when you go to some of these other places, that's not the case. The new guy that's working on your car that hasn't been there a year, he doesn't fucking know. He's just doing what they told him to do. The guy in the front office, he doesn't know because he actually wasn't the one doing the work. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I see that from both sides, because I've got guys in the front office that have never done the work.
Yeah.
But we've been around it for long enough now, and we've been successful around it for long enough now. Like we were talking before, the GTR market is hard right now. Yeah. I actually regret not getting as heavy into the V10s when they came out, because I had one, my partner had one, and I didn't want to get into them as much because, again, it's just another massive liability. And you kick a rod out of something now, it's $40,000 instead of $4 to buy a GTR block back then. And the GTR market has slowed way down. But like he said, like something that I'm proud of is like we might not be having 5 2,000 horsepower builds going on right now, but those same 2,000 horsepower builds from 3 years ago, you'll still get gapped. You know, like the same cars that have been winning races for the last couple of years, we're gonna come out with. It doesn't matter what, like. This year, Marcelo decided he wanted to roll race. We came out and we came in second at the Elite 8 but like, if we want to do it, we can do it.
You dominated though. You did well, yeah. Because racing, a qualifier for Elite 8 is good.
It's only experience in racing. So you have these shops come out and, they're going to build you this car. And they built one and it made this much power on the dyno. But have they ever done anything with it? Yeah. Like, a lot of people jumped into this V10 market. Where are they all now? Yeah. T1's still killing it. Obviously, Hefner's been around forever. UGR, that goes without saying. But, I think Justin from Auto Trends, he's doing a lot of stuff too. Yeah. But there was
people that are drag racers.
But there was
like
15
Hefner's a drag racer, T1's drag racers. But
I'm saying there was 15 shops building V10s when they first came out, and everybody, including ourselves, we still do probably one a month. But like everybody kind of went back to their own lane.
But but there's a lot to be said that because of the way that, like, perfect example, Hefner. The tuner hasn't changed at Hefner. The engine builder hasn't changed at Hefner. The trans builder hasn't changed at Hefner. So if you make your decision based on, man, Hefner's been doing this forever, that's a solid choice. But there's companies in our industry that the people that are in the front office are the same as the ones that set a world record 3 years ago, but all the people working on your car are not. All the people that they change machine shop, they change tuners, they change because they just go to the cheapest or they go to the easiest or they just don't can't retain employees. And you go somewhere thinking you're going to get this excellent result. They don't have the ability to give you that result. They're learning again. We, myself and Alpha take a lot of pride in the fact that if you come to our shop because you watched us run at TX2K
you're getting the 13
and you were so happy with how we ran, but you weren't ready to do a build, you come today, the same people are working on your car.
Well, I was just
same
thinking
person's tuning it.
That too is the team that you have is a full in-house team. Like some people have like a tuner over here for the different chassis and stuff. Like you guys have like parts, install, tune, out the door. It's
and the only thing that's outsourced really is the engine builds, and that hasn't changed either. That component is the same. Like,
and it's fast forward.
You can expect the same thing. We're not. It's like you go somewhere and you ask for a discount. Very, very often, people don't realize that when you asked for the discount, that person went back and they're like, how can I make this cheaper? And the only way they were able to give you the discount is because instead of using that precision turbo, they're going to use the on-3 turbo or whatever it is. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't realize that. We don't discount the work, like the bill, we don't discount it, and we don't discount the quality. Like, the quality stays the same, and that's the constant. Everything works around the product and the quality. Everything else is what we work around.
Yep. And we do outsource, our tuner, but it's the same stuff that I've been doing since 2017.
Yeah.
I've always had Rob tuning my stuff. I've always had Shep building the trans. And then the machine shop, obviously we don't have an in-house machine shop, but the machining of the engines, I still use the same place in Connecticut that I've always used. Even all the way from Texas, we ship them all the way up there, and everything remains the same. So I have different techs because a lot of the guys I brought down from Connecticut to start with me, and Houston just wasn't home for them. But the tech that I'm speaking about, he left almost 3 years ago now. But I'm still there. I did the work myself in the beginning.
Yeah.
So
and that makes a huge difference.
I can
know
show
what it takes. Yeah.
I can show all those guys how to do it because it wasn't, I hired a good tech and he put the car together, now he left. Yeah. I taught the good tech how to do that.
Yeah.
Because I did it myself.
Yep.
And so now any tech that comes in the door, as long as they're capable, you can teach them how to do things the exact way that you've done them. And you may have to break them of some bad habits, this, that, the other, but at the end of the day, what a lot of people didn't realize for a long time at the shop Houston was they thought I was wrenching on their car. So when I was going somewhere and I was racing my car and I was doing something, they'd be like, I don't want this guy working on my car. And I'm like, you realize I haven't left my office in a month. I'll go out and I'll solve a problem. And the guy that's
working on your car works on my car.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I'd rather him work on my car than you work on my car.
Yeah, well, exactly.
You'd rather him.
Listen, so when we touched on this a little bit earlier, like I started a new business this year and I've been, a lot more remote for the shop, and people were wondering about their engine build quality because I assembled all the long blocks for the longest time. But the guy I have assembling them right now, I trust more than myself.
Yeah.
He's Japanese. He reads the service manual in Japanese while he's assembling every single engine. Not, I already read it 100 times, I'm just going to do it. It's sitting on top of the motor.
The Nissan service manual.
Every time. He assembled my long block that went 221 at 2K. All I'm saying is, I never built one that went 221. So, a lot of people are worried about that, but as long as the upper management is there and as long as you teach people the stuff to do the right way, there's a lot, there's a lot to say
but when you're replacing key players that like the tuner, the engine builder, and the key players that are doing things, it's not their job to, and they don't need to disclose that. And I'm sure that the person in the front may think that they can still deliver the same product, but sometimes that's not the case.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And if I call induction or I assume that the owner, Victor, hired people that were not idiots, and if You know,
Yeah,
like
no,
you,
for sure.
you,
But that's
take-
that's
you
not always
just
the case.
assume.
You would
You
be
would
surprised.
be wowed.
You'd be
You
surprised.
deserve to be able
You
to
would be.
assume that the same level
I would
of quality.
invite you. I'll make you a list, and I'll invite you to just visit these 10 shops once a year for the next 5 years, and tell me how many people are the same.
Yeah, I'm not even
not
saying turnover rate. I'm saying you would be surprised some of the people that are doing some of this stuff, because in the beginning I always thought like, oh man, like I have to have, these, like I can't just hire anybody. These, and then I'm out there at other places. I'm like, these guys really just fucking hire anybody.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
Go to like your local dealership.
Yeah.
Your service center.
100%.
But where do you
How
think a
long
lot
have
of
you
these
been
guys come from?
People go to the dealership, like, so somebody owns a Nissan Altima, they think, oh, I'm going to go to the Nissan dealership. I'm
They know
sorry,
what they're doing.
there's a high probability that the dude that's working on your car is like 20 years old, fresh out of school,
Lube tech.
went there hoping to learn and hoping to be taught, and they just threw him this fucking AC compressor, like, hey, go put that shit on that car. Dude's got no idea.
Yeah, no clue.
No clue.
But he's gonna try.
Why is my AC, why am I sweating? Yeah.
Brett was making the joke because he was a Mercedes tech, and he was like, yeah, it used to be tough. Now they hold up this thing and they like, do you see yourself in the mirror? Okay, you're hired.
Yeah, it's bad.
They hold up a little mirror.
It's bad.
Yep.
That's it. That's
Yeah,
all it
but
takes.
it's because my dad was a Honda tech for a long time. He got hurt his shoulder. They put him on disability. When he was ready to come back, I'm talking like 20 plus years. When he was ready to come back, they said, you can either stay part-time in parts or we don't need you anymore, because they hired somebody cheaper. It's not because they hired somebody better.
Yeah, 100%.
They're making more margin.
Yeah.
And it sucks because the people that, like my dad, that have been working on Hondas for 20 years, that's the best guy that could ever work on your car. And he just got, they basically let him go to hire somebody fresh out of school that has never even
Where
done
they
any
should
of
be
this stuff
keeping
before.
him and being like, we need you to make sure that all these people that we hire learn and know what they're doing, or to oversee or whatever. That's just not how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And that-
had a clip that went like crazy. I still get comments on it every day with Eat Sleep Race at PRI. And they talked about like ASE certed or not necessarily ASE certed, but like, formally taught technicians. And, the fact of the matter is there's probably plenty out there that are great, so I'm not knocking every one of them. But the fact of the matter is you can't learn a 15th of the stuff that you need to know at school. You have to just do it. Like everything, and that's not just cars. That's life. Like, business, everything.
Yeah.
Like the only reason we are doing what we're doing at this age is because we put ourselves in a position to fuck it up sooner.
Yeah.
To figure out the wrong way to do it when we were 20 instead of when we're 30.
Well, if it's like a Venn diagram and it's, good tech and ASE certified, they only overlap a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
They don't overlap fully.
Yeah,
It's not a
yeah.
guaranteed.
I remember the first time when I was younger, my dad hired a tech that was ASE certified, like one of the first ones. And like a month in, my dad's like, does ASE mean ask somebody else? Because this fucking guy doesn't know anything.
Yeah, but your dad's usually,
Well,
I'm
it's-
sure, so nice to new tech also.
Yeah, he's probably really
I'm
nice.
sure he didn't break him in hard at all.
The guy was asking a lot of questions. That's all I remember.
All I know is my dad doesn't have a single employee, and that's why.
I
Not
mean,
because that they don't know anything. It's because he's probably pretty hard to work for.
and it takes some balls. Like, your dad's great and smart, but like to repeatedly ask him questions that are stupid, it'd be.
If you don't know that
How
they're
many
stupid
stupid
questions,
ones do you think he
What's the
had?
matter with you, my dad? My dad's,
I mean, if you don't know it's a stupid question, you may get away with it for a while.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
But at some point, you gotta be like, oh man, he's really getting. I don't think I should ask him.
This guy ratted on himself over a month of just asking stupid shit. Like, this guy might have lied on his resume.
That's an ongoing thing at my shop is, people telling each other that they lied on their resume and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right, so Coop, are you ready for FL2k?
No.
God dang it.
Well, the car's ready to drive and go, but we're doing a bunch of changes as.
That makes sense. It's only,
do.
I mean, yeah, now's the time. It's about 4 weeks out. Yeah, it's a good time. We should start making
Exactly.
changes.
Yep.
You
Exactly.
see what the shit I got to deal with?
I mean, I'm flying.
You're like one of my superstars, man. I need you to be out there showing off.
I'm flying to Houston next week to put my car on the dyno for the first time with a
Yeah, but
different package.
you're chopped liver. Yeah, you're done.
I mean, you don't want me to show up.
I do.
No, you want me to show up, but
I
you don't want me
show
to.
up.
You don't want that car to roll up into the
qualify.
lanes.
I want you to qualify 16. Like it's sending you home first round.
Yeah, right.
Man, if that car qualifies 16 in on a good path, that's gonna be a fast field.
Yeah. Probably not gonna happen. But
It's qualified 16 a couple times. Never on a good path. You just sneak into the field and then somehow work your way all the way to the end.
Now for talking all this shit, I gotta stop.
Yeah, that Super is a wild card. You
Anything
never
with
know
the
what it's gonna do.
That Super's pretty solid actually, because if you really think about it, we've made like 10 or 12 runs. All of them have been good, and all of our issues were just we had a guy wire our car up to save time, and it was so this is one thing that I always do. I won't, if you bring me your car and you're like, hey, I want to do something and I want to try a new guy, I won't do it on your car. I do it
I'll do it on my car.
Yeah. So I had a guy wire my car that was highly recommended and done a couple other cars for friends. He did a terrible job. All the issues we've ever had with the car have been electrical. I now had the car rewired by someone who's, very good at what they do. And I don't foresee any issues. But like I said, I mean, I think we made 12 passes with that car total. It spun the tire once, maybe twice. It's wheelied like twice, but it's made great hits every single time. I mean, I think our first time out in that car, we went like 440s, which, just like tickling it, like just getting to know it. We've made, 6 runs in a row, 414 or quicker, which is really fast.
Yeah, is it still on Fuel Tech?
Yeah.
I didn't know if you switched it when you rewired it.
No. I mean, none of our issues were related to Fuel Tech.
Yeah, I just didn't know if, there was obviously everybody has a preference. Alpha doesn't seem to have a preference.
Alpha doesn't have a preference at all. Alpha will tune anything in the world, and I wish he wouldn't sometimes. But
I know sometimes I walk in there and I'm like, is this just a stock Mustang ECU you're tuning? Like when?
but I guess at that level of like your car and this car, like it's always a wild card. But I'm pretty confident, man. We've done really well in a very short amount of time. I mean, we had the quickest radio car in the country or in the world on our second quarter mile pass. You know what I mean? So if the car just mechanically stays together, I think we have a car that's a contender.
Definitely. I think that, and that, to go back to the 28th being so awesome is that car running with cars that are all completely different. Almost every car in the field is completely different. It's like mini LDR because LDR are kind of all now syncing up.
Yeah.
But now it's like mini LDR where cars are different again.
Well, and what I like about that class too is that we were getting to a point where we had to rule people out of street car because they were just too fast for the class and running away from it. So we gave them a place to go. It's a really cool class. I mean, I think we'll have a lot of, I think it'll be all 6-second cars.
What is FL2k? October 6th to 8th?
3rd through 6th.
3rd through 6th. Yep. Okay, just wanted to make sure.
October 3rd through 6th.
Yeah, we get that out there.
We're doing a deal now that if you buy your ticket online, we're going to give 25 people a merch bag with we're doing 4 FL2k shirts. So we're going to pick 25 random people, give them a free shirt. I highly suggest buying your tickets online because if it's anything like last year, we might sell out. And if we sell out, you'll be at the gate pissed off that you can't get in. Yeah. So the best way to secure your spot is buy your ticket online.
Especially if you're driving from even 20-30 minutes away.
Yeah. Just buy your ticket. It's not worth it. You get in quicker and you're guaranteed a spot. Freedom Plus will be doing the live feed. I'm really excited about that. Really high quality live feed. A lot of new angles and pit reporters. And, we have 2 great announcers in the tower. One walking around doing interviews. We'll have Adam Dory, Cliff Parvin, Derek Putnam. So
oh wow,
that's an all-star team.
Yeah,
all-star team at Freedom Plus that does the live stream. Just every aspect of the event. Our tech guys, our tech team is locked in. John Sears, the lead tech guy. He's arguably the GOAT of tech.
This is the first year that Streetcar actually has to tech.
Yeah, tech. Well, has more tech, like actual
power plant rules.
Power plant rules. Yeah,
so like actual tech on that, even weight rules.
Yeah. So
there's never been weight rules before. So this is the first time we have to pull across scales.
Yeah. Yep. So
even me, who doesn't have a weight rule, I probably don't have to pull across the scale.
Yeah. So the way that John will make that call, but most likely what they'll do is they'll direct I think it's just the V8 cars that have weights because there's so many different combinations of them. There's so many different weights and turbocharger combinations.
You did rule Garrett out of that with mullet. You did that on purpose, from what I've heard on the internet.
Anybody who thinks that
there's no turbo big blocks in the class.
If you think that I'm at home thinking of ways to rule Garrett out of Streetcar Shootout, You are absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. Because I can't have a car going 650s in street car shootout when the next fastest car goes 7.2.
Years of Rick beating up on all of us. You never ruled him out.
I was trying.
And then suddenly...
You also can't... It's a very fine line of including as many people as possible. And also, you have to have somewhere for these people to go, like I was just talking about, you know? Yeah. I don't want people to not race. I just want the racing to be competitive. And that's a hard thing to manage.
Can you rule Jim Braun out at all? Can we?
Jim Braun is out.
Okay.
There's a rule. It's fine print, very bottom.
Perfect.
No Jim Braun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who likes that guy anyway?
No. He's great to have at the event, but he doesn't need to be racing.
I would like Jim Braun to line up everybody in streetcar. Both lanes, run back and forth, and just line everyone up. That's what I'd like him to do.
Exactly. I'm cool with that. Well, let's wrap this up, guys. How can they follow Induction at Induction Performance on everything? Go look at their beautiful Supras that they've been posting lately.
Yeah, we've actually been posting a lot more than we usually do. But yeah, check us out. Induction
new
Performance.
Videos and stuff like
we're
that.
trying to
Sam's car is worth going to look at.
Yep. So check us out, Induction Performance, and then also check out Bradenton Motorsports Park and FL2k. Bradenton, we have a lot of stuff coming up. Like I said earlier, October to March, we throw a banger almost every weekend. So even if you're just flying into Florida at some point in that time period, check us out. And FL2k, October 3rd through 6th is going to be a banger. Huge payouts, some of the biggest payouts that any streetcar event has ever paid that I know of. Probably going to be the baddest stick shift race I've ever seen. The list is just all heavy hitters, all competing for $20,000.
Yep.
Same thing with most of the classes. Check it out, and then I'll let you give your spiel.
Yeah, where could people follow? I know you said new business, but you didn't touch on it. I don't know if it's even something you
No, it's not car related. It's just another venture that I'm working on. But obviously on Instagram, it's real simple, just at the Shop Houston, and then my personal Instagram is just at MacBros7. That's it.
Cool. Yeah, I'll put that stuff in the
It's not
description.
Mac Bros, it's Mac Bros.
Mac Bros.
A lot of people say Mac Bros. I guess it reads that way.
Mac
it works.
Mac Bros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, go check it out. Shop Houston. They do all kinds of GTR stuff.
And then check us out, man. Come watch us race. Come say, and you know what too, like
come watch me leave the starting line before Victor.
If you come to FL2k, that won't happen. If you come to FL2k,
or
if you come to an event and you see us, come say what's up. Like we want to meet you guys. Come say what's up. Tell us where you met us or you saw us, whatever. Like, we want to interact with people, like, and we want you to come and have a good time.
Yeah, bring your kids too.
Yeah, bring your
When
kids.
they say
Like,
it's
let's
a pit
do
pass,
this.
they actually mean go talk to the drivers and look at the cars. They don't mean go like kind of.
Now, if I'm underneath my car and I'm covered in like oil, maybe don't say anything to me. But
if I'm really late to the staging lanes and I'm trying to get up there for last call, please get out of the way.
Yeah, if I'm strapping in my helmet, maybe that's not the best time to talk to me.
No, I'll still say what's up.
Yeah, I'll give you a pound.
I may be a little I may be a little focused on other things if I'm putting my helmet on.
It ain't that serious. You've driven that car 1,000,000 times.
Yeah, but I'm still focused on not hitting the wall.
Don't even talk about that.
All right, guys.
Been there, done that.
Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.